His expression was cold, but his gaze softened slightly when he looked at Duan Lingtian. "Hello, seventh junior brother." The black-clad young man nodded at Duan Lingtian. "Seventh junior brother, this is second senior brother. Second senior brother is the strongest among us. He's not even 1,000 years old, but he's already a powerful celestial emperor." At this moment, the plump man dressed in a red robe introduced the black-clad young man to Duan Lingtian. At the same time, he did not forget to introduce himself. "As for me, I'm your sixth senior brother. If you can defeat me, you can call me by my name," the plump man said with a smile. Swoosh, swoosh. A few moments later, two figures appeared in the hall. One of them was a beautiful woman dressed in a red robe, and the other was a young man dressed like a scholar. "Your seventh junior brother?" The beautiful woman dressed in a red robe walked up to Duan Lingtian. Under Duan Lingtian's shocked gaze, she lifted Duan Lingtian's chin and said, "Not bad, you're quite handsome. Seventh junior brother, are you interested in having a romantic relationship with third senior sister?" Huan who was standing next to Duan Lingtian, was infuriated by the woman's actions. She scoffed and slapped the woman's hand away. "Oh, you're my sister-in-law? I'm sorry. I didn't notice you earlier. However, sister-in-law, why are you wearing a veil?" The woman in red was the first to withdraw her hand. When Huan hand missed, she lifted her hand and removed the veil from Huan face. Huan peerless beauty was revealed to everyone. At this moment, the hall fell into a deathly silence. Even the woman in red was stunned for a long time before she said with a sigh, "I didn't expect there to be a woman who's comparable to first senior sister in this world. No, I should say there's a woman who's even more beautiful than first senior sister." As soon as the woman in red finished speaking, the black-clad young man scoffed. The woman in red smiled awkwardly and said, "Second senior brother, I was just joking. Seventh junior brother, sister-in-law, third senior sister has no ill intentions. I'm your fifth senior brother, Ouyang Chi Fei." The young man who was dressed like a scholar nodded and smiled at Duan Lingtian and Duan Lingtian before he introduced himself. "Duan Lingtian, this is your second senior brother, Lu Ji." At this moment, Su Lang, the verdant prairie celestial emperor, introduced his 5 prodigious disciples to Duan Lingtian. Lu Ji nodded at Duan Lingtian with a faint smile on his stiff and cold face. "This is your third senior sister, Hu Mei." Then, Su Lang turned to the woman in red and introduced her to Duan Lingtian. The woman in red winked at Duan Lingtian as though she was trying to seduce him. She only withdrew her gaze when she saw Huan glaring at her. "This is your fourth senior sister, Wan. Then, Su Lang turned to the blue-clad woman and introduced her to Duan Lingtian. The blue-clad woman nodded and smiled warmly at Duan Lingtian. "This is your fifth senior brother, Ouyang Chi Fei. He introduced himself earlier." Then, Su Lang looked at the scholarly young man and said, "He's the only one among your senior brothers who's normal." Upon hearing Su Lang's words, the fat man looked at Su Lang with a hint of resentment in his eyes. "Teacher, although you're a teacher, you can't slander me like this, right? Why don't you tell me how I, Hong Fei, am abnormal? If you don't explain yourself today, I'll hug your leg and not let go." As soon as the fat man finished speaking, he rolled towards Su Lang like a ball. In the end, he really hugged Su Lang's thigh, looking like he would not let go even if he was beaten to death. Scram! Alas, Su Lang was a titled celestial emperor. Naturally, he would not allow the fat man to do as he pleased. Following Su Lang's shout, a tyrannical force swept out from Su Lang's leg and sent the fatty flying. He crashed heavily into a pillar in the palace. Boom! Rumble! Following a series of earth-shaking noises, the entire palace shook a few times. However, the fatty who had crashed into the pillar seemed to be completely fine. His entire body was covered in an earthen yellow light as he continued to look at Su Lang with resentment in his eyes. "Teacher, how can you treat me like this?" Upon seeing this, Duan Lingtian's mouth twitched slightly. Although the 5 people in front of him were Su Lang's prodigious disciples, they did not seem like proper disciples at all. They seemed more like a group of scoundrels. "Little junior brother, Do you think our teacher doesn't act like a teacher at all? The red-clad woman who was Duan Tian's current third senior sister, who Mei, smiled and said, actually, all of us respect teacher a lot. However, teacher is more amiable and is willing to be friends with us. We can't deprive him of this little bit of power. If we treat him like an elder, he'll be unhappy. Therefore, just treat him as a friend from now on. Hu Mei said with a smile. Hu Mei, you've led this fat man astray, and now you're leading Duan Tian astray as well? Su Lang glared at Hu Mei angrily. Although he looked angry, Duan Tian could feel that Su Lang was just putting on an act. He was not really angry. Little junior brother, you'll get used to it after staying with us for a while. Although our teacher is a titled celestial emperor, he doesn't care about trifles in front of his own people. When Wan'er, Duan Tian's fourth senior sister, looked at Duan Tian and smiled gently. All right, Duan Tian nodded. For some reason, a warm feeling rose in his heart. For a moment, he even felt like he was at home. Perhaps, this was the carefree life of a family. Previously, when Su Lang led the way, Duan Tian had thought he was Su Lang's true self. Perhaps, Su Lang's true self was Duan Tian's true self. Sigh. Now that I have old 7, I am no longer the little junior brother. Fatty really lacks love now, and no one loves him. Hong Fei, the sixth senior brother, sighed and shrugged. Fatty, you make it sound like you didn't lack love when you were little junior brother. Hu Mei, the third senior sister, rolled her eyes at Hong Fei. Then, she looked at Hong Fei's fat body and said, if you're as handsome as little junior brother, I'll definitely love and dote on you. However, with your current appearance, I really can't bring myself to love and dote on you. Chapter 2. End of Chapter 2. Chapter 3263. In the beginning, Duan Tian had only joined Su Lang because he wanted to help him find out more about her parents. However, now that he was interacting with Su Lang and the other prodigious disciples, he felt a sense of enjoyment. Little junior brother, tell third senior sister. How did you manage to win over such a beautiful little sister? After Hu Mei's third senior sister scoffed at her sixth senior brother, she moved closer to Duan Tian with a smile on her face. Then, she looked at Duan Tian before she shifted her gaze to Duan Tian. Third senior sister, are you usually so direct? Although Duan Tian could tell Hu Mei was a straightforward person based on her behavior earlier, he felt slightly embarrassed when Hu Mei shifted her attention to him and Huaner. Little junior brother, third senior sister has always been like this. She doesn't have any ill intentions. You'll get used to it, Ouyang Chi Fei said with a smile. His gentle and refined manner made him look like a young teacher in the academy. All right. Duan Tian nodded. Naturally, he could tell Hu Mei did not have any ill intentions. Little junior brother, I'm going back to cultivate. I'll take my leave first. Second senior brother Lu Ji glanced at Duan Tian as a rare smile appeared on his face. The moment his words left his mouth, he seemed to have transformed into a bolt of lightning and left. When Lu Ji moved to leave, his figure was indeed surrounded by bolts of purple lightning, emitting bursts of violent aura. It was clear Lu Ji had comprehended the law of thunder. Little junior brother, second senior brother means if anyone bullies you in the future, you can ask him for help. Second senior brother is one of the 5 strongest prodigious disciples in the Heavenly Pool Palace. People call him the Thunderclap Sword Celestial. Sixth senior brother, Hong Fei, narrowed his eyes as he smiled at Duan Tian. After bidding farewell to Duan Tian, Su Lang left the main hall and went to the backyard to cultivate. After Su Lang left, Duan Tian continued to chat with his 2 senior brothers and senior sisters who were still in the Heavenly Pool Palace. Gradually, he gained a deeper understanding of the Heavenly Pool Palace. In the Heavenly Pool Palace, only the most outstanding disciples under the age of 1,000 would be able to obtain the title of a prodigious disciple. After 1,000 years of age, the identity of a heaven's chosen disciple would automatically be revoked. For this reason, his second senior brother, Lu Ji, was one of the top 5 prodigious disciples under the age of 1,000 in the Heavenly Pool Palace. Little junior brother, you've just joined the Heavenly Pool Palace. I don't think you've obtained the identity of a genius disciple yet, right? Fourth senior sister asked with a smile. Not yet. Duan Lingtian shook his head. I plan to visit the sword trial hall tomorrow. Earlier, I heard teacher say that he wanted to take this close female friend of yours as a disciple as well. However, you allowed her to become a disciple of Hall Master Lei Ying? Ouyang Chifei asked. Yes. Duan Lingtian nodded. Little junior brother, after chatting for so long, I still don't know the name of your lover? Who may? His third senior sister asked with a smile. Third senior sister, her name is Huan. Duan Lingtian replied. Huan. Hume looked at Huan from head to toe before she said, Indeed, she's as beautiful as a dream. If it weren't for her, I would have thought eldest senior sister is the most beautiful woman in the world. Eldest senior sister? Duan Lingtian asked curiously. Isn't eldest senior sister in the Heavenly Pool Palace? Yes. Hume nodded. If eldest senior sister is in the Heavenly Pool Palace, she'll definitely come over when she learns that you've joined the Heavenly Pool Palace. She has something to attend to. Upon hearing Hume's words, Hong Fei chimed in. He chuckled and said, Little junior brother, although eldest senior sister isn't a prodigious disciple, that's only because she's over 1,000 years old. She's very strong. Before she's 1,000 years old, she's widely acknowledged as the #1 prodigious disciple in the Heavenly Pool Palace. The #1 prodigious disciple in the Heavenly Pool Palace? Upon hearing Hong Fei's words, Duan Lingtian was shocked. Naturally, he knew what Hong Fei's words meant. Hong Fei was the strongest person under the age of 1,000 in the Heavenly Pool Palace. Eldest senior sister is so powerful? For a moment, Duan Lingtian was curious about Hong Fei's eldest senior sister, whom he had never met before. Little junior brother, when eldest senior sister returns, don't look at her lecherously. Otherwise, second senior brother will beat you up. Hong Fei continued to chuckle as he said, Let me tell you a secret. Second senior brother likes eldest senior sister, but eldest senior sister doesn't pay much attention to him. It's a one-sided love. What kind of secret is that? Hume said snappily, This isn't a secret in the Heavenly Pool Palace, all right? You're just trying to be mysterious. However, little junior brother, when eldest senior sister returns, you must listen to her. It's fine if you don't listen to the teachers, but you must listen to eldest senior sister. Hume said with a smile, This is because even the teachers have to listen to eldest senior sister. Upon hearing Hume's words, Duan Lingtian was confused. His teacher, Su Lang, had to listen to eldest senior sister? Little junior brother. Eldest senior sister is teacher's daughter. Upon seeing Duan Lingtian's confusion, Ouyang Chifei explained, However, there's a story between teacher and eldest senior sister. Eldest senior sister doesn't like to talk to teacher, but teacher only wants to make it up to eldest senior sister. That's why he listens to her every word. As for the exact reason, we're not too sure. The only thing we know is that the reason why their relationship became like that is related to mistress, who passed away. Ouyang Chifei said. After learning about the sex affairs, Duan Lingtian could not help but ask, Senior sisters, senior brothers, how many profundities have the strongest prodigies comprehended to the mastery stage in the Heavenly Pool Palace? He was very curious about this. In the Heavenly Pool Palace, prodigies were disciples under the age of 1,000. In the Heavenly Pool Palace, the most outstanding disciples under the age of 1,000 had comprehended several profundities of laws to the greater mastery stage. He was very curious about this. Little junior brother, apart from the thunder elemental profundity, which is the most basic profundity of the law of thunder, I've already comprehended the other 8 profundities to the mastery stage. What do you think? Fatty Hong Fei said with a smile. Upon hearing Hong Fei's words, Duan Lingtian was dumbfounded. At the same time, he realized how terrifying a prodigy from a heaven-grade force was. Hong Fei was not even 1,000 years old, but he was already a celestial emperor who had comprehended all the profundities from the law of thunder to the mastery stage. 6 senior brother, you said second senior brother's strength is ranked in the top 5 among the prodigies in the Heavenly Pool Palace. Don't tell me the other 4 have also comprehended all the profundities to the mastery stage? Duan Lingtian asked again.
Yes.
Hong Fei nodded. It's not just the 5 of them. There are a few other prodigies in the heavenly pool palace who have comprehended all the profundities to the mastery stage as well. Little junior brother, why are you asking this? Don't tell me you've comprehended all the profundities to the mastery stage as well? When Hong Fei reached the end of his sentence, he could not help but widen his eyes as he looked at Duan Tian. Earlier, I heard from our teacher that little junior brother managed to defeat the 6 combos Celestial Lord's disciple in the first round. Ouyang Chi-Fei looked at Duan Tian meaningfully before he said, moreover, little junior brother's cultivation base is only a 4 phenomenon Celestial Lord. However, the 6 combos Celestial Lord has comprehended 4 profundities from the law of fire to the mastery stage. Little junior brother's strength is truly extraordinary. Ouyang Chi-Fei said. 5th senior brother, did you secretly ask teacher about this through voice transmission? Hong Fei looked at Ouyang Chi-Fei in surprise. Ouyang Chi-Fei smiled awkwardly and said, I'm just curious about little junior brother. I think you're just curious about how our teacher took a liking to little junior brother and took the initiative to recruit him, right? Humei glared at Ouyang Chi-Fei. Ouyang Chi-Fei felt even more embarrassed now that his thoughts were exposed. Not only little junior brother, but Huan Er's strength is also enough to defeat that person. Ouyang Chi-Fei changed the topic when he mentioned Huan Er, Hong Fei, Humei, and when Huan Er looked at Huan Er in shock when they heard Ouyang Chi-Fei's words. They did not expect Huan Er to possess such strength as well. Don't underestimate Huan Er. Although she's not even 300 years old like little junior brother, her cultivation base is higher than little junior brother's. She's already a 6 combos Celestial Lord. Ouyang Chi-Fei said. No wonder our teacher wants to recruit Huan Er. As it turns out, Huan Er's innate talent is not inferior to little junior brother's. Humei exclaimed. Wait a minute. At this moment, Hong Fei's eyes widened as he looked at Duan Tian and Huan, little junior brother. You and Miss Huan are not even 300 years old? Not even 300 years old. Upon hearing Hong Fei's words, Humei and Huan Er were reminded of the key points Ouyang Chi-Fei had mentioned earlier. Their little junior brother and Huan were not even 300 years old? How could they be 4 phenomenon Celestial Lords and 6 combos Celestial Lords when they were not even 300 years old? Moreover, they were even stronger than a 6 combos Celestial Lord who had comprehended 4 profundities from the law of fire to the mastery stage. It seems like our teacher has picked up a treasure this time. Humei's eyes lit up as she looked at Duan Tian. Then, she asked, Huan Er, do you mind if your brother Ling Tian has another woman? Upon hearing Humei's words, Huan Er looked at Humei with a hostile expression on her face. Humei could not help but laugh when she saw Huan Er's expression. It's just a joke. Look at you. Humei shook her head as she laughed. She was certain Huan Er would attack him if Humei continued to make a fuss. Senior sisters, senior brothers, we'll return to our cultivation now. Duan Tian did not know what to do with Humei. He was worried that Humei would provoke Huan Er again, so he quickly left with Huan Er. Naturally, he was still in shock when he left. He thought to himself, I thought it was rare for me to comprehend all the profundities from the law of space to the mastery stage. I didn't expect there are more than 10 profundities under the age of 1,000 in the heavenly pool palace who have comprehended all the profundities from the law of space to the mastery stage. Chapter 3264. After leaving Su Lang's cultivation place, Duan Tian brought Huan Er to one of the cultivation places on the peak of one of the 3 perilous peaks that had been vacated. The layout of this place was similar to Su Lang's cultivation place, except it was covered with a thick layer of dust. However, the dust was nothing to Duan Tian. With just a wave of his hand, a gust of wind swept out. In just a blink of an eye, the cultivation place became spotless again. Brother Ling Tian, I didn't expect the prodigious disciples of the heavenly pool palace to have such terrifying innate talent and comprehension ability. There are even celestial emperors who are younger than 1,000 years old. Moreover, there are almost 10 of them who have comprehended profundities to the mastery stage. Although Huan Er did not join in the conversation between Duan Tian and his seniors, she had clearly heard their conversation. Huan Er, think about it this way. The heavenly pool palace is a heaven-grade force. There are only a handful of heaven-grade forces in the Devata realms. Duan Lingtian pondered for a moment before he said, although Heavenly Emperor's forces are superior to heaven-grade forces, that's only because of the existence of Heavenly Emperors. The prodigious disciples of heaven-grade forces aren't necessarily inferior to the prodigious disciples of Heavenly Emperor's forces. In other words, the prodigious disciples of heaven-grade forces are considered the most outstanding in the Devata realms. Duan Lingtian said, think about it. There are only 100 prodigious disciples in the heavenly pool palace. There are only 10 prodigious disciples in every 100 years old and 100 prodigious disciples under 1,000 years old. Duan Lingtian continued to say, therefore, it's not surprising that there are a few celestial emperors who have comprehended all the profundities of a law to the mastery stage before the age of 1,000. After listening to Duan Lingtian's words, Huan fell silent for a moment before she agreed with Duan Lingtian's words. Huan although you've become Lei Ying's disciple, it's still better for you to cultivate at my place. I'm sure the merciless celestial emperor won't say anything about it. Duan Lingtian said. He knew that the reason Lei Ying was willing to accept Huan as a disciple was because of her talent and comprehension ability. She was destined to become a prodigious disciple. There wasn't much of a difference between her and Su Lang. As for the possibility of Huan betraying him, that didn't exist at all. After all, Huan could have chosen not to become her disciple. She was already giving her a lot of face by doing so. Furthermore, at Lei Ying's level of cultivation, she no longer cared about controlling her disciples. Instead, she cared about her reputation. No matter where she cultivated, the more outstanding she was, the more respect she would gain for her. After all, why would a titled celestial emperor care about Huan-er's help? The next morning, Duan Lingtian brought Huan-er to the sword trial hall. Yesterday, Su Lang had brought them to the Heavenly Pool Palace to complete the procedures to enter the Heavenly Pool Palace. For this reason, both of them were considered disciples of the Heavenly Pool Palace. With the Heavenly Pool Palace's disciple token hanging on their waists, they were allowed to go anywhere in the Heavenly Pool Palace. Let's challenge the prodigious disciples. When Duan Lingtian and Huan-er arrived at the Sword Trial Pavilion, they immediately looked for one of the Sword Trial Pavilion's elders. Coincidentally, this Sword Trial Pavilion's elder was one of the 10 elders they had met yesterday. Miss Huan-er. The elder ignored Duan Lingtian and greeted Huan-er with a smile on his face. Then, he said, there are 10 prodigious disciples between the age of 200 and 300. Since you're not prodigious disciples yet, you can only challenge the last prodigious disciple. If the prodigious disciple doesn't accept the challenge within 3 months, the challenger can replace the prodigious disciple and become the last prodigious disciple on the ranking list. After becoming a prodigious disciple, you can challenge the other 9 prodigious disciples who are ranked at the top. The elder of the Sword Trial Palace explained patiently. He did not dare to slight Huan-er since she was a new disciple of the Heavenly Pool Palace. After all, Lei Ying was the pavilion master of the Sword Trial Hall, his superior. If the prodigious disciple doesn't accept the challenge because he's away, will he be replaced by a challenger? Duan Lingtian asked. Yes. The elder nodded. If you're away for too long, you'll be replaced by a challenger. If you want to become a prodigious disciple again, you'll have to challenge the prodigious disciple again. After listening to the elder's explanation, Duan Lingtian finally understood the rules of the prodigious disciples. I'll challenge the prodigious disciples between the age of 200 and 300. Duan Lingtian did not beat around the bush as he looked at the Sword Trial Hall elder. Give me your identity token and leave behind a soul pearl. I'll contact the prodigious disciple you're challenging. If he accepts the challenge, I'll inform you of the time and location. The elder looked at Duan Lingtian and asked, the challenger won't be allowed to enter closed-door cultivation or leave the Heavenly Pool Palace for 3 months. Are you sure? I'm sure. Duan Lingtian nodded. Let's wait for the news. Then, he looked at Huan-er who was standing next to Duan Lingtian and said with a smile, Miss Huan-er, are you going to challenge the prodigious disciples? Yes. Huan-er nodded. If 2 prodigious disciples in the same age group challenge the prodigious disciples at the same time, the The two prodigious disciples at the bottom will accept the challenge. The Sword Trial Pavilion Elder took out her identity token and handed over a soul jewel to Huan. Miss Huan, I'll make the necessary arrangements. After the Sword Trial Pavilion Elder finished registering Huan and Duanling Tian's identity tokens, he returned them to them before he left to carry out his task. Huan, you're much more respected than I am in the Sword Trial Hall, Duanling Tian said with a smile. It seems like it was the right decision to let you become the Pavilion Master's disciple. At the very least, things will be much more convenient in the Sword Trial Hall. After the elder left, Duanling Tian and Huan were about to leave. However, Lei Ying, the Pavilion Master of the Sword Trial Hall, appeared again. Senior. Duanling Tian greeted Lei Ying. Huan nodded at her as well. Lei Ying could tell Huan was a reserved person during the assessment yesterday. Therefore, she did not mind Huan behavior. Huan I'll bring you to the place where my disciples cultivate, Lei Ying said to Huan Then, she brought Huan and Duanling Tian to the place where her disciples cultivated. It was a vast valley filled with buildings. Many people could be seen flying up and down. Most of the people here are friends and family of the prodigies under my wing. Including you, there are a total of 5 prodigies under my wing, Lei Ying said to Huan Soon after, under Lei Ying's lead, Duanling Tian and Huan arrived at a vast stone platform on the side of a mountain. A majestic palace could be seen on the platform. The prodigious disciples are ranked according to their strength. Huan you're ranked 5th since you've just joined the sect. You'll have to address the 4 people in front of you as senior brothers and sisters. However, if you're stronger than them one day, no one will dare to object even if you want to be the eldest senior sister. Lei Ying added. Soon after, Lei Ying sent a message to Duanling Tian and Huan For figures arrived at the palace where Lei Ying had brought Duanling Tian and Huan to. 3 of them were men, and 1 was a woman. Teacher. The 4 of them bowed respectfully at Lei Ying. The atmosphere in the palace was solemn. It was a stark contrast to the atmosphere in Su Lang's palace. Huan this is your eldest senior brother, Shimin Lin Jie. Lei Ying looked at the tall and sturdy young man in crimson robes and introduced him to Huan The young man from the Shimin Lin clan had a determined expression on his face. When Lei Ying introduced him to Huan a hint of surprise could be seen in his eyes. Although Huan was wearing a veil, it could not hide her peerless beauty. This is your second senior brother, Lei Jun. Lei Ying looked at the other young man who resembled Lei Ying. He was dressed in gray robes and had a simple and honest appearance. He's also my only son. Hello, little junior sister. Lei Jun grinned at Huan His sincere smile was filled with warmth. This is your 3rd senior sister, Ling Hu Yuan. Lei Ying turned to look at the only woman among the 4. The woman was dressed in green, and she had an ordinary appearance. However, when she looked at Huan a hint of jealousy flashed in her eyes, but she hid it well. Even so, Duanling Tian still noticed it. A woman's jealousy is truly terrifying. Duanling Tian thought to himself. This is your 4th senior brother, Huan. Finally, Lei Ying looked at a middle-aged man who was dressed in short robes and said to Huan Huan nodded at Huan before he turned to look at Ling Hu Yuan with a hint of infatuation in his eyes. However, when Ling Hu Yuan noticed his gaze, a hint of disdain could be seen on her face. This is your 5th junior sister, Huan Don't underestimate her. She's not even 300 years old, but she can easily defeat a 6-combo celestial lord who has comprehended 4 profundities from the law of fire to the mastery stage. Moreover, she's also a 6-combo celestial lord. In terms of strength, she might not be weaker than Old 3rd and Old 4th. Lei Ying paused for a moment before she looked at Ling Hu Yuan and Huan, a 6-combo celestial lord who's not even 300 years old. Lei Ying's words, naturally, shocked the 4 of them. A few moments later, Ling Hu Yuan stepped forward and said with a grin on her face, Little junior sister, I heard from teacher that you're quite strong. Do you want to spar with your 3rd senior sister? If you win, you'll be master's new 3rd senior sister. Chapter 3265. Junior sister Ling Hu, you're an 8 trigram celestial lord, and you're more than 700 years old. Don't you think it's unfair for you to challenge little junior sister? Lei Jun frowned slightly when he heard Ling Hu Yuan's challenge. Second senior brother, didn't you hear Master say little junior sister's strength is on par with he one and me? I'm afraid you're worrying too much. Ling Hu Yuan smiled. Lei Ying did not react like Lei Jun. She looked at Huan and said with a faint smile, Huan your third senior sister wants to challenge you to a duel. What do you think? Lei Ying did not know much about Huan strength. She had only said those words earlier because she knew Ling Hu Yuan would challenge Huan. Now that Ling Hu Yuan was going according to her plan, she was, naturally, happy to see it happen. All right. Huan nodded. In that case, both of you can go out and have a duel. Lei Ying's eyes lit up when she heard Huan's agreement. Then, she walked out of the palace and hovered in the air above the valley. Duan Lingtian and the others followed after her. An 8-trigram celestial lord? Duan Lingtian looked at Ling Hu Yuan indifferently. Lei Jun had said Ling Hu Yuan was an 8-trigram celestial lord who was more than 700 years old. It was impossible for her to comprehend all the profundities from a law to the mastery stage. It was possible for her to comprehend 7 profundities from a law to the mastery stage, but it was unlikely for her to do so due to her age. At most, she would only be able to comprehend 6 profundities from a law to the mastery stage. Huan since she's the one who provoked us, there's no need for you to hold back. You can attack her as long as you don't kill her. Duan Lingtian sent a voice transmission to Huan. He knew Huan's strength was not as simple as it seemed. Huan's strongest ability was not her cultivation base or the profundities from the law of space, but her abilities as 1,000 phantoms ice fox. If Huan did not use her abilities as 1,000 phantoms ice fox, she would not be a match for him. However, if she were to use the 1,000 phantoms ice fox's technique, even he would not dare to say that he would be able to defeat her. In fact, he would most likely lose. Duan Lingtian would have to rely on the 5 divine elements to see through Huan's illusions.
Yes.
Upon hearing Duan Lingtian's words, Huan replied, Brother Lingtian, I won't hold back because I don't like her. Upon hearing this, a hint of schadenfreude flashed in Duan Lingtian's eyes. He knew that someone was going to be in trouble. Huan rarely got angry, but when she did, her anger was not something an ordinary person could withstand. He was deeply aware of this point. Second senior brother, have you taken a fancy to this junior sister? Ling Hu Yuan looked at Lei Jun and asked with a smile. What nonsense are you talking about? Lei Jun frowned. If you don't like her, why are you speaking up for her? However, second senior brother, if you really like her, I advise you to give up. Look at her. Her entire heart is with the man beside her. Ling Hu Yuan chuckled. A few moments later, everyone arrived at the location where Lei Ying had arrived. Huan and Ling Hu Yuan stood facing each other as they stared at each other. Little junior sister, let me, your third senior sister, witness your strength. Ling Hu Yuan looked at Huan with a fake smile on her face. As soon as Ling Hu Yuan finished speaking, Huan teleported and appeared behind Ling Hu Yuan. Buzz, 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 buzz. The sound of saber humming rang in the air as 9 spatial tears appeared. Then, a gray saber flew out from each spatial tear, aiming for Ling Hu Yuan. When Ling Hu Yuan saw this, she instinctively tried to dodge. At this moment, a powerful wave of spiritual energy surged out from Huan's body and spread out to interfere with Ling Hu Yuan's movements. No! Ling Hu Yuan shrieked. Then, she turned into a gust of wind and flew away. Even so, a few streaks of blood could be seen on the spot where she had been standing. It was obvious she was injured by the dimensional/profundity. Was that a soul attack? Everything happened so fast that even Lei Ying could not react in time. After all, she was not skilled in soul attacks. Nevertheless, she could still sense the fluctuation of Huan's soul with her divine consciousness. Earlier, when Ling Hu Yuan was hit by the dimensional/profundity, she had mobilized all her celestial origin energy to save Ling Hu Yuan. It was not that she was trying to help Ling Hu Yuan. Even if Huan was in danger, she would still step in. She only had a few prodigious disciples under her wing. Naturally, she did not want anything to happen to them. Ling Hu Yuan won't dare to underestimate Huan Er anymore. Duan Lingtian looked at Ling Hu Yuan calmly. It was not difficult for him to see that Ling Hu Yuan had been injured because she had underestimated Huan Er. Junior sister is so strong? Lei Jun was shocked. That soul attack is a little strange. Shimin Lingjie slightly narrowed his eyes, and his face became somewhat dignified. Junior sister. At this moment, Ling Hu Yuan, who had fled far away, no longer had the look of contempt on her face. She looked at Huan Er solemnly as she said, "It seems like I've underestimated you. I won't hold back anymore." When Ling Hu Yuan reached the end of her sentence, her tone became colder. "No one asked you to hold back." However, in the face of Ling Hu Yuan's provocation, Huan Er only replied indifferently. Although his words were flat, when they fell into Ling Hu Yuan's ears, it was tantamount to slapping her face. Ling Hu Yuan had always been arrogant. Swoosh, 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 swoosh. Ling Hu Yuan seemed to have transformed into a gust of wind as she disappeared into thin air. The gust of wind was headed for Huan Er. Swoosh. Huan Er teleported and disappeared from where she was, causing Ling Hu Yuan to miss her. However, as soon as she appeared in another place, Ling Hu Yuan, who had transformed into a gust of wind, chased after her. They went back and forth a few times, one chasing and the other dodging. Junior sister, is dodging the only thing you can do? Ling Hu Yuan's impatient voice rang in the air. It was clear she was infuriated by Huan Er's teleportation. For those who comprehended the law of wind, those who comprehended the law of space were the bane of her existence. Naturally, even if Huan Er could teleport, Ling Hu Yuan was confident she could catch up to her. However, it would take a lot of time. She did not want to waste that much time. "I'm afraid you won't be able to last long if I don't teleport," Huan said indifferently. Everyone, including Duan Lingtian, had a strange expression on their faces when they heard Huan Er's indifferent voice. This was especially true for Duan Lingtian. His lips twitched involuntarily when he heard Huan Er's words. When did Huan Er learn to speak like that? He felt a sense of déjà vu when he heard Huan Er's words. It seemed like he had said something similar to her in the past. "I'd like to see it for myself." Ling Hu Yuan exploded when she heard Huan Er's words. The sound of wind whistling rang in Duan Lingtian and the others' ears. Swoosh. When Huan Er reappeared, she did not teleport again. However, a faint white light shone in her eyes. Following that, the silhouette of a huge white fox appeared behind her. It was as huge as a mountain, and it emitted a chilling aura. Swoosh. Without any warning, a white light shone in the eyes of the white fox behind Huan Er as well. In the next moment, time seemed to have stopped at this moment. Everyone, including Duan Lingtian, saw Ling Hu Yuan coming to a halt when she was close to Huan Er. Then, he actually attacked the void. His tyrannical power missed again and again. An illusion? At this moment, any ordinary person would be able to tell that Huan Er had used some sort of illusory technique on Ling Hu Yuan, and she was unable to extricate herself from it. Is that 1,000 Phantoms Ice Fox? While Lei Jun and the others were still in shock, Lei Ying's gaze shifted to the white fox silhouette behind Huan Er that was gradually fading away. As a titled celestial emperor, Lei Ying was, naturally, astute. Although the Phantom Fox clan's 1,000 Phantoms Ice Fox only existed in legends, she was still familiar with its characteristics. "I knew she wasn't human. I didn't expect her to be a rare 1,000 Phantoms Ice Fox in the Phantom Fox clan. I found a treasure. I found a treasure." Lei Ying's eyes were brimming with excitement. At this moment, even if Su Lang offered her Duan Lingtian in exchange for Huan Er, she would not agree to it. Huan Er might not be a match for Duan Lingtian in a head-on battle, but if she used her 1,000 Phantoms Ice Fox, she might not be able to defeat Duan Lingtian. Most importantly, Huan Er was much more flexible. As a 1,000 Phantoms Ice Fox, her potential to become a 10-direction celestial emperor was high. Given enough time, she would definitely become a 10-direction celestial emperor. In fact, in the history of the Devata realms, there were several thousand Phantoms Ice Foxes who managed to achieve godhood. More than 90% of heavenly emperors aren't able to achieve godhood. If Huan Er can achieve godhood, won't I? Lei Ying, and the merciless celestial emperor be fated with a god? When Lei Ying thought of this, she found Huan pleasing to the eye. When the thousand phantoms ice fox's silhouette disappeared, Ling Hu Yuan was finally freed from the illusory technique. When she saw Huan standing in front of her in her snow-white robes, a look of disbelief appeared on her face. Why are you unharmed? One must know that earlier, she had clearly seen her junior sister being forced back by her attacks in a very sorry state. However, in just a blink of an eye, Huan seemed fine. Ling Hu Yuan took a deep breath before she prepared to continue attacking. Enough. At this moment, Lei Ying said, "Third brother, you've lost. If Huan wanted to kill you, you would have died a long time ago." End of chapter. Chapter 3266. Impossible. Upon hearing Lei Ying's words, Ling Hu Yuan's first reaction was to look at Lei Ying in disbelief. She even thought Lei Ying was siding with Huan junior sister Ling Hu. Lei Jun sighed. Earlier, you were caught in little junior sister's illusory technique. She could have easily killed you for 3 breaths of time. If it was a battle of life and death, you would have died by now. Lei Jun said. Ling Hu Yuan was skeptical of Lei Ying's words, but she was still skeptical of Lei Jun's words. However, when her gaze landed on Shimin Linjie and he won, and both of them nodded at her, she knew that her teacher Lei Ying was telling the truth. What kind of technique was that? Ling Hu Yuan looked at Huan with a grim expression on her face. She had seen illusory techniques before, but she did not see any traces of illusory techniques at all. In fact, the mirror image in the illusory technique seemed to be one with the scene in front of her. Lei Ying and the others who were watching from the side did not change at all. The only thing that changed was the white-clad woman who was supposed to be in a sorry state. Instead, she stood at the side and looked at Ling Hu Yuan as though she was watching a show. It's normal that you can't see through Huan illusory technique. Lei Ying glanced at Ling Hu Yuan indifferently and said, Huan is a rare thousand phantoms ice fox from the Phantom Fox clan. In the Devata realms, thousand phantoms ice foxes are divine beasts. Divine beasts? Ling Hu Yuan was shocked when she heard Lei Ying's words. Lei Jun and the others were stunned as well. They had heard of the Phantom Fox clan before. They knew it was a powerful clan, but it was only a grade 1 force. However, even if it was only a grade 1 force, they did not doubt that a rare thousand phantoms ice fox clan would be extremely talented. However, what truly shocked them was the 2 words divine beast that Lei Ying had mentioned. Divine beasts were superior to celestial beasts. If there were no mishaps, divine beasts would become gods that were stronger than 10 Directions celestial emperors when they reached adulthood. They would stand at the peak of the Devata realms. And now, their teacher was telling them that their little junior sister was a divine beast? Lei Ying's disciples were shocked, but Duan Lingtian and Huan did not show any signs of shock. After all, they already knew this would happen. Especially Duan Lingtian. A long time ago, Duan Lingtian had asked Huan about the Thousand Phantoms Ice Fox's grade. However, Huan had told him that the Thousand Phantoms Ice Fox was not a celestial beast but a divine beast. When he obtained the world-cleansing divine water, it could tell that Huan was a divine beast. Because of this, he was not surprised. Huan has defeated Old Third. From now on, she's my 3rd disciple. At the same time, Lei Ying looked to Ling Hu Yuan and announced, As for you, Old Third, from today on, you'll be Old Fourth. As soon as he finished speaking, he looked at He-Wan. He-Wan, you're the 5th. 3rd junior sister. 3rd junior sister. Upon hearing Lei Ying's words, Shimin Linjie and Lei Jun changed the way they addressed Huan As for Ling Hu Yuan, she reluctantly addressed Huan as her 3rd senior sister. When she looked at Huan the jealousy and hatred in her eyes grew even stronger. This Ling Hu Yuan, Duan Lingtian could not help but frown when he saw Ling Hu Yuan's jealousy toward Huan A cold glint flashed in the depths of his eyes. He could only hope that Ling Hu Yuan would not stir up trouble. If she had any ill intentions toward Huan he would not let her off. Huan you can stay here and cultivate from now on. Lei Ying smiled at Huan Lei Ying's words immediately caused the jealousy and hatred in Linghu Yuan's eyes to grow even more intense. One must know that before today, only her eldest senior brother and second senior brother could come to her master's place to cultivate as they pleased. After all, the heaven and earth spirit energy at her teacher's place was much denser than anywhere else in the valley. There's no need for that. Upon hearing Lei Ying's words, Huan shook her head and said, I'll just cultivate with Brother Ling Tian. She did not want to leave Duan Ling Tian's side. Moreover, she would be able to cultivate faster if she stayed by Duan Ling Tian's side. Although Lei Ying's cultivation place was good, it was nothing compared to the heaven and earth spirit energy that filled Duan Ling Tian's little world. After all, the heaven and earth spirit energy that filled Duan Ling Tian's little world came from the ruins of the realms of gods. The realms of gods were places where gods cultivated. Naturally, the quality of the heaven and earth spirit energy in the realms of gods could not be compared to the quality of the heaven and earth spirit energy in the realms of gods. All right, it's up to you. If Lei Ying did not know that Huan was a thousand phantoms ice fox, she might have been displeased by Huan words. However, now that she knew Huan was a thousand phantoms ice fox, she decided to let Huan do whatever she wanted as long as Huan acknowledged her as her disciple. Moreover, as long as she took care of Huan as her teacher, it would not be difficult for her to become closer to Huan. After all, it would be beneficial for her to become friends with a divine beast who had taken human form. In fact, if Huan became a god one day, she might even be able to give her some pointers. Perhaps Huan would be able to comprehend the path to godhood. Becoming a god was the dream of every celestial emperor in the Devata realms. However, in the Devata realms, it was rare for celestial emperors to achieve godhood. Even among titled celestial emperors, there might not even be 1 in 1,000 who could achieve godhood. In any case, Huan, remember that you're my disciple. You can look for me if you need anything in the future. Lei Ying raised her hand and handed her soul pearl to Huan. Huan, let's exchange soul pearls. After the exchange of soul pearls, Lei Ying raised her hand and a fruit that shone with purple lightning appeared in her hand. It emitted a refreshing fragrance. Huan, this is a gift from me, Lei Ying said as she handed the fruit over to Huan. Lei Ying said as she handed the celestial fruit to her. This is a violet thunder celestial fruit. I obtained it by accident 1,000 years ago. The violet thunder celestial fruit. When Lei Ying took out the celestial fruit and handed it to Huan, the jealousy in Linghu Yuan's eyes intensified. Even the other 3 disciples, including Lei Jun, stared at the fruit in Lei Ying's hand. The Thunderbolt Immortal Fruit was one of the immortal fruits that immortal emperors could use to increase their cultivation base. It was one of the top immortal fruits that could greatly increase the cultivation base of immortal emperors. After a while, Lei Jun and Shimin Lin Jia withdrew their gazes. After all, the violet thunder celestial fruit was of no use to them. After all, both Lei Jun and the Shimin Lin clan were celestial emperors now. Thank you, teacher. Huan eyes lit up as she took the violet thunder celestial fruit from Lei Ying. Huan remember that you're my disciple in the heavenly pool palace. No matter what happens, you'll always have my support, Lei Ying said solemnly. Lei Ying said with a solemn expression. Okay. Huan nodded. Junior sister Huan, if any prodigious disciple dares to provoke you, please let me know. Eldest senior brother is about to pass 1,000 years old and leave the ranks of prodigious disciples. However, I, Lei Jun, am only slightly over 800 years old. Lei Jun smiled at Huan. Thank you, second senior brother. Huan nodded again. After a while, the group of people left. Before they left, apart from Linghu Yuan and He Wan, Lei Jun, and Shimin Lin Jia also exchanged soul pearls with Huan. Naturally, they were the ones who took the initiative to do so. Duan Lingtian discovered Lei Jun, Lei Ying's son, had been ignoring him from the beginning until now. However, when he left with Huan, he could see the jealousy in Lei Jun's eyes. Huan's charm is really great. As a man, Duan Lingtian could easily guess Lei Jun's thoughts when he recalled how Lei Jun had defended Huan in front of Linghu Yuan. Naturally, he had also noticed the coldness in Linghu Yuan's eyes when he left with Huan. It's fine if Linghu Yuan behaves herself. If she doesn't, I don't mind finding an opportunity to send her on her way. Even if they were in the heavenly pool palace, Duan Lingtian and Huan could easily kill a celestial lord like Ling Hu Yuan if they wanted to. Huan was a thousand phantoms ice fox. Her illusory techniques were unparalleled in the world. Coupled with his concealment techniques, he was confident he could kill an ordinary celestial emperor. After returning to Su Lang's residence, Huan took out the purple thunder celestial fruit and handed it to Duan Lingtian. Brother Lingtian, this purple thunder celestial fruit is for you. Huan I know you mean well. However, this purple thunder celestial fruit is a gift from your master, Lei Ting. You should take it, Duan Lingtian said with a smile. Brother Lingtian, my cultivation speed is much faster than yours. Moreover, the purple thunder celestial fruit is not as beneficial to me as it is to you. If you don't want it, I'll destroy it, she said stubbornly. Duan Lingtian felt helpless when he saw the determination in her eyes. Since when did she learn to use this tactic? In the past, he had often done this when they were distributing celestial fruits. However, it seemed like Huan had learned his technique. Huan Brother Lingtian, I'll tell you this first. Don't do this again. Next time, the purple thunder celestial fruit will belong to you regardless of whether it's mine or yours. Duan Lingtian took the purple thunder celestial fruit and said solemnly, both of us will take turns to consume one purple thunder celestial fruit. Do you understand? All right, Brother Lingtian. Hurry up and consume the purple thunder celestial fruit. With the purple thunder celestial fruit and the heaven and earth spirit energy in your little world, you'll soon become a 5-element celestial lord. Huan smiled. It's not that easy. Duan Lingtian shook his head. Before joining the heavenly pool palace, he had just become a 4-phenomenon celestial lord. He still had a long way to go before he could break through. Even if he consumed the purple thunder celestial fruit, it would still take him some time to become a 5-element celestial lord. At this moment, Duan Lingtian turned to look at Duan Lingtian and said, Brother Lingtian, I've received a message from the elder of the Sword Trial Pavilion. Chapter 3267. I received it as well. As soon as Huan finished speaking, Duan Lingtian received a message from the Sword Trial Pavilion's elder. The Sword Trial Pavilion's elder had informed him that the prodigy ranked last in the 200 to 300 years old age group was currently in the Heavenly Pool Palace. Moreover, he had accepted the challenge and would be fighting Duan Lingtian in the Heavenly Pool Palace's prodigy arena in 3 days. As the challenger, Duan Lingtian did not have the right to choose the time. If he did not show up in 3 days, he would be deemed to have admitted defeat. The prodigy I challenged will be fighting in 3 days. Huan what about yours? Duan Lingtian asked curiously as he looked at Huan Mine is in 10 days, Huan replied. Duan Lingtian nodded. 3 days passed in just a blink of an eye for Duan Lingtian. 3 days later, Duan Lingtian left Su Lang's cultivation place with Huan in tow. However, as soon as he left, a voice rang from behind him. Hey, little junior brother, wait for me. HM? Duan Lingtian stopped moving and turned around to take a look. With just a glance, he saw a fatty in a loose green robe flashing over. Although the plump man's body was huge and heavy, his speed was not slow at all. 6 senior brother. What's the matter? The plump man was none other than Su Lang's 6th disciple, Hong Fei. Hee. Junior brother, today is the day you challenge the prodigy disciples. As your senior brother, how can I be absent? I'm not like those fellows who call me little junior brother all the time, but I can't see you when the time comes. Hong Fei chuckled before he said with a righteous expression on his face, Senior brother Hong Fei, how did you know I'm challenging the prodigy disciples today? Duan Lingtian was taken aback. Even he had only received the message from the Sword Trial Pavilion's elder 3 days ago. Little junior brother, anyone who challenges a prodigy disciple, whether it's to become a prodigy disciple or to rank among the prodigy disciples in their age group, as long as the Sword Trial Pavilion successfully challenges the prodigy disciples, the battle information will be publicly displayed in the Sword Trial Pavilion, Hong Fei said. Hong Fei said, As for me, I just happened to go to the Sword Trial Hall the day before yesterday and happened to see your message. Coincidence? Duan Lingtian glanced at Hong Fei with a strange look, before a grin appeared on his face. It seems like it's only a coincidence that senior brother Hong Fei knew about my challenge today. It was a slip of the tongue. At this time, Hong Fei naturally knew that he had spilled the beans. He quickly said righteously, "Little junior brother, I was just testing your reaction speed. That's why I said that. Actually, ever since you entered the sect, I've been going to the sword trial hall every few days to look at the battle information of the prodigy disciples. That's why I know that you're going to battle the last ranked prodigy disciple in the 200 to 300 years old age group, Huang Lunan." Hong Fei spoke with a serious expression, as if he was telling the truth. Duan Lingtian shook his head. Naturally, he did not believe what Hong Fei had said. However, he had learned more about Hong Fei's shamelessness. "Little junior brother, you've just joined the Heavenly Pool Palace. I don't think you know where the Prodigy Arena is, right?" Seeing that Duan Lingtian was not interested in answering his question, Hong Fei changed the topic and asked, "Yes." Duan Lingtian nodded. "I was just about to ask someone after I leave. There's no need for that. I'll take you there." Hong Fei smiled. On the way to the Prodigy Arena, Hong Fei continued to explain, "The Prodigy Arena isn't located on any of the floating islands in the Heavenly Pool Palace's estate. It's located 10 miles north of the Heavenly Pool Palace's estate. There are 3 Prodigy Arenas in total, and each of them is used by the Heavenly Pool Palace's Prodigy disciples. However, you're the only one who's going to challenge Huang Lunan in the Prodigy Arena today. The Heavenly Pool Palace doesn't lack spectators. Even if you're not famous, and Huang Lunan is only at the bottom of the 200 to 300 years old group of prodigious disciples, there will still be many spectators watching the battle. Of course, most of the spectating disciples are ordinary disciples of the Heavenly Pool Palace. There are only a few prodigious disciples." By the time Hong Fei finished speaking, Duan Lingtian and Huan had already arrived 10 miles north of the Heavenly Pool Palace's estate. Along the way, they saw many Heavenly Pool Palace's disciples heading in the direction of the Prodigy Arena. "I, Hong Fei, am considered a big shot in the Heavenly Pool Palace. I didn't expect these Heavenly Pool Palace's disciples to be so unobservant." Hong Fei narrowed his eyes in displeasure when he saw none of the Heavenly Pool Palace's disciples had come forward to greet him. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Meanwhile, Duan Lingtian, Huan and Huan finally came to a halt. They had arrived at the Prodigy Arena. The Heaven's proud son of Heaven's Arena consisted of 3 vast arenas suspended in the void. They were distributed at different levels. A small floating island could be seen at the center of the Prodigy Arena. Apart from a huge stone tablet, there was nothing else on the island. The words Prodigy Arena were engraved on the stone tablet. At this moment, more than 100 people had gathered around the Prodigy Arena, and the number was still increasing. Senior Hong Fei. While Duan Lingtian was looking at the Prodigy Arena, a Heavenly Pool Palace's disciple stepped forward and greeted Hong Fei enthusiastically.
Yes.
Seeing someone come over to greet him, the dissatisfaction that had just appeared on Hong Fei's face immediately disappeared. He nodded in satisfaction. Naturally, Hong Fei was no longer as shameless as before in front of Duan Lingtian and Huan. When the Heavenly Pool Palace's disciple came forward to greet Hong Fei, the other Heavenly Pool Palace's disciples turned to look at Hong Fei. "He's Hong Fei. He's the weakest prodigy under the verdant prairie celestial emperor, Su Lang. Hong Fei seems to be the weakest prodigy between 600 and 700 years old. He's often kicked out of the ranks of the prodigy disciples. It'll take him a while to climb back up. However, the fact that he managed to climb back up the ranks means he's quite strong. He's barely comparable to a prodigy." Although the Heavenly Pool Palace's disciples did not speak loudly, with Duan Lingtian and Huan hearing, they clearly heard what they were saying. Immediately, the two of them looked at each other, and the corners of their mouths curled up slightly. Hong Fei's fat face darkened when he heard the disciples' words. He said angrily, "You bunch of gossips. If you have the guts, come up the Prodigy Arena and fight me. I'll fight all of you alone. If all of you can last 3 rounds, it'll be my loss." Upon hearing Hong Fei's words, the Heavenly Pool Palace's disciples realized Hong Fei had heard them. They stood there awkwardly, not knowing if they should leave or stay. Hong Fei, you've really regressed. Aren't you ashamed to bicker with an ordinary disciple? At this moment, a burst of sharp laughter rang from afar, helping the Heavenly Pool Palace's disciples to resolve the awkwardness. In just a blink of an eye, a thin young man appeared before everyone's eyes. He was the polar opposite of Hong Fei's fat body. Lu Jian, what are you doing here? Hong Fei frowned slightly when he saw the thin young man. He did not expect Lu Jian to be here as well. At the same time, Hong Fei's voice rang in Duan Lingtian's ears. Little junior brother, this fellow's name is Lu Jian. He's about the same age as me. However, I'm ranked 10th while he's ranked 9th. If it weren't for my bad luck, I would have defeated him and pushed him down from the 9th place. Hong Fei snorted when he reached the end of his voice transmission. However, Duan Lingtian did not take Hong Fei's words seriously at all. This was because he knew his senior brother Lu's mouth was not very reliable. Nevertheless, he did not expose Hong Fei's lies. Naturally, I came here with my junior brother. Today is the day my junior brother, Huang Lunan, will fight your little junior brother. Lu Jian paused for a moment before he continued to say, I just found out that Duan Lingtian, the new disciple who challenged my junior brother, has joined your teacher, Lord Su Lang, the Verdant Prairie Celestial Emperor. If I'm not mistaken, it should be him, right? As soon as Lu Jian finished speaking, he looked at Duan Lingtian with a disdainful smile on his face. What? Are you looking down on my little junior brother? Hong Fei asked in a deep voice with a frown on his face when he saw the disdainful smile on Lu Jian's face. It's not that I'm looking down on him, but it's better for a new disciple to consolidate his strength before challenging a prodigious disciple. It won't be easy for him to defeat a prodigious disciple without consolidation, Lu Jian said indifferently. I'm afraid he'll be traumatized if he loses and won't dare to challenge a prodigious disciple again. Lord Su Lang has a total of 7 disciples. 5 of them are outstanding talents. Initially, you were the only one holding him back. However, it seems like there's another one holding him back now. When Lu Jian reached the end of his sentence, his gaze swept past Hong Fei and Duan Lingtian. The disdain on the corner of his mouth grew thicker. Bullshit, Hong Fei exclaimed. On the other hand, Duan Lingtian's eyes narrowed slightly before he regained his composure. He smiled faintly as he said, Wait until your junior brother, Huang Lunan, defeats me before you say that. Otherwise, you'll end up slapping yourself in the face when the result is out. When Duan Lingtian reached the end of his sentence, he looked at Lu Jian intently. That's right. Hong Fei chimed in immediately. I'll end up slapping myself in the face? Lu Jian was slightly taken aback when he heard Duan Lingtian's words. Then, he could not help but laugh. Brat, it seems like you're quite confident in yourself. However, many of the new disciples in the Heavenly Pool Palace are also very confident in themselves. Alas, in the end, they'll always be beaten black and blue. A hint of coldness flashed in Lu Jian's eyes as soon as he finished speaking. Chapter 3268. Oh, is that so? Duan Lingtian smiled faintly when he heard Lu Jian's words. Senior brother. At this moment, a tall and sturdy young man dressed in blue, with a determined expression on his face flew toward Lu Jian. Are you looking for me? Junior brother, this is your opponent today. He's Lord Su Lang's youngest disciple, Duan Lingtian. Lu Jian looked at Duan Lingtian and said to the newcomer. Based on Lu Jian's words, it was obvious the newcomer was Duan Lingtian's opponent today, Huang Lunan. Huang Lunan was ranked last among the 10 prodigious disciples in the 200 to 300 years old age group. If Duan Lingtian defeated him today, he would become a prodigious disciple. At that time, Huang Lunan would be pulled down from the ranks of the prodigious disciples. Prodigious disciples had their own identity tokens. With that identity token, they could enter many places in the Heavenly Pool Palace that ordinary disciples could not enter. Moreover, prodigious disciples were treated in a way that ordinary disciples were jealous of. There were only 100 prodigious disciples in the Heavenly Pool Palace. Since the Heavenly Pool Palace was a heaven-grade force, it was difficult to become a prodigious disciple in the Heavenly Pool Palace. Oh? Upon hearing Lu Jian's words, Huang Lunan shifted his gaze to Duan Lingtian and asked indifferently, I heard you defeated a senior brother who's a 6 combos celestial emperor and has comprehended 4 profundities from the law of fire to the mastery stage during the entrance exam? Huang Lunan asked as he looked at Duan Lingtian intently. You seem to know a lot about me. Duan Lingtian said indifferently. I hope you're as strong as you claim. Otherwise, I'll be very disappointed today. Huang Lunan shook his head and smiled. It was as though he did not feel pressured even if he knew Duan Lingtian was strong. It seems like you're very confident in your strength, Duan Lingtian said. Not bad. I think I'm slightly stronger than you. Huang Lunan smiled. Oh, is that so? Duan Lingtian smiled faintly and revealed a non-committal expression on his face. The elder of the Sword Trial Palace is here. While Huang Lunan and Lu Jinli were facing off against Duan Lingtian, Huan and Hong Fei, the voices of the Heavenly Pool Palace's disciples rang in the distance. It's still him. Duan Lingtian raised his head slightly. With just a glance, he recognized the Sword Trial Pavilion's elder who had helped him and Huan register their names. Huang Lunan, Duan Lingtian, have you arrived? As soon as the Sword Trial Pavilion elder appeared above the stone tablet with the words Prodigy Arena written on it, he asked calmly with his hands behind his back. Although his voice was not loud, it seemed to contain some kind of special magic that clearly entered the ears of everyone present. Junior brother, go on. I'd like to see why Lord Su Lang would take a liking to this brat. Lu Jin said to Huang Lunan. Although Lu Jin and Huang Lunan were both disciples of a titled celestial emperor in the Heavenly Pool Palace, their titled celestial emperor was slightly weaker than Su Lang. In the past, Lu Jin had wanted to become Su Lang's disciple, but Su Lang had rejected him. It was also because of this that he was very hostile towards Su Lang's disciples who were not as strong as him. Why did Su Lang accept people weaker than him, but not him? Senior brother, just you wait. Today, I'll show him what it means to be a prodigious disciple. Huang Lunan sneered. As soon as Huang Lunan finished speaking, he transformed into a ball of flames and flew up one of the prodigy arenas. Elder. As soon as Huang Lunan entered the prodigy arena, he looked at the Sword Trial Pavilion elder and threw an identity token to him. The identity token was the identity token of a prodigious disciple from the Heavenly Pool Palace. The identity token of a prodigious disciple was not engraved with a name, but it could be used to establish ownership through a drop of blood. After Huang Lunan removed the blood binding on the identity token, he threw it to the Sword Trial Pavilion elder. Although the identity token was not engraved with a name, there were some words engraved on it. For example, the words 200 to 300 years old and 10 were carved on it. This identity token belonged to the 10th ranked prodigious disciple among the 200 to 300 years old prodigious disciples. The prodigious disciples in each group would be given a different identity token. If the prodigious disciple defeated the prodigious disciple in the same group, the prodigious disciple's identity token would be swapped. Swoosh. When Huang Lunan handed the identity token to the Sword Trial Pavilion elder, Duan Lingtian teleported to the prodigy arena where Huang Lunan was standing. Upon seeing this, Huan teleported to the prodigy arena as well. She looked at Duan Lingtian, who was facing off against Huang Lunan. Sister-in-law, Huang Lunan is quite strong. What do you think is little junior brother's chance of winning? Hong Fei asked with a smile on his face. It's impossible for brother Lingtian to lose. Hong Fei was taken aback when he heard Huan simple and direct reply. Her reply was simple and straightforward. Although Huan had faith in Duan Lingtian, Hong Fei thought she was blindly trusting Duan Lingtian. Although teacher said little junior brother has no problem becoming a prodigious disciple, his opponent is Lu Jin's junior brother, Huang Lunan. Hong Fei could choose not to believe Huan words, but he had no choice but to believe Su Lang's words. However, he was still puzzled. Huang Lunan is capable of doing what little junior brother did in the first round of selection as well. Let's wait and see. As long as little junior brother defeats Huang Lunan, he'll become a prodigious disciple. At that time, I'd like to see Lu Jin's expression turn ugly. As Hong Fei thought to himself, he turned to look at Lu Jin, who had followed him to the prodigy arena. What? Hong Fei, you can't possibly think that this junior brother of yours is a match for my junior brother, right? Lu Jian asked mockingly when he saw the sneer on Hong Fei's face. Lu Jian, I hope you'll still be able to smile when the time comes. Now, Hong Fei had no other choice but to believe in Duan Tian. Not to mention anything else, just the imposing manner before the Lu clan would absolutely not lose. Meanwhile, more and more disciples from the Heavenly Pool Palace gathered around the arena. The Sword Trial Pavilion elder who presided over the Prodigy Arena suddenly looked into the distance. His gaze attracted everyone's attention, causing them to look over as well. It's Lei Jun. Senior brother Lei Jun. Senior brother Lei Jun is ranked in the top 3 among the 10 prodigies between the ages of 800 to 900. Not only is he a one basic celestial emperor, but he has also comprehended 7 profundities from the law of metal to the mastery stage. Most importantly, senior brother Lei Jun is the only son of Lord Lei Ying, the merciless celestial emperor, one of the 9 titled celestial emperors in the Heavenly Pool Palace. Lei Jun was one of the most dazzling geniuses in the Heavenly Pool Palace. Not only was his strength outstanding, but his family background was also far beyond others' reach. However, many people were puzzled. Why was Lei Jun here? Normally, Lei Jun would not be attracted by Duan Lingtian's challenge to Huang Lunan. Young master, the elder from the Sword Trial Pavilion greeted Lei Jun respectfully. Lei Jun's mother was the pavilion master of the Sword Trial Pavilion. Naturally, the elder did not dare to slight Lei Jun. Elder Qin, you don't have to worry about me. As soon as Lei Jun finished speaking, he appeared next to Huan and greeted her with a smile. Third junior sister, second senior brother. Since Lei Jun had helped her many times in front of Ling Hu Yuan, Huan had a good impression of him. Therefore, she nodded in response to Lei Jun's greeting. Third junior sister, I heard you issued a challenge to a prodigious disciple as well? When will your battle be? Lei Jun asked with a bright smile on his face. 7 days later, Huan replied. However, this time, she did not look at Lei Jun. Her eyes were fixed on the purple-clad young man on the Prodigy Arena. It was as though the purple-clad young man was the only person in her eyes at this moment. Lei Jun's expression darkened when he saw this. When he looked at the purple-clad young man on the Prodigy Arena, a hint of killing intent flashed in the depths of his eyes. He had fallen in love with his third junior sister as soon as he laid eyes on her. Although she was wearing a veil on her face, it still made his heart beat faster. However, what made him jealous was that this third junior sister already had a man by her side. Of course, even if he knew that his third junior sister had a special liking for this man, he didn't really care. This was because he could see that his third junior sister was still a virgin and had not had that kind of relationship with the man by her side. For this reason, he felt he still had time. Naturally, the prerequisite was for his third junior sister to shift her attention away from the purple-clad young man, Duan Lingtian, to him. Duan Lingtian, there's no enmity between us. However, if you want to blame someone, blame it on me for liking you. Killing intent surged in Lei Jun's heart as he looked at Duan Lingtian. As it turns out, senior brother Lei Jun isn't here for the battle between Duan Lingtian and Huang Lunan. He's here for this woman. This is the first time I've seen senior brother Lei Jun treat a woman like this. Many of the Heavenly Pool Palace's disciples could see Lei Jun's feelings for Huan. Let's begin. When the Sword Trial Pavilion elder's voice rang in the air, everyone's attention shifted from Lei Jun to Duan Lingtian and Huang Lunan. Duan Lingtian, right? I will let you know that you are overestimating yourself by challenging me. Huang Lunan sneered as he stared at Duan Lingtian. Make your move. Duan Lingtian remained calm in the face of Huang Lunan's confidence. He said indifferently, if you don't make your move, I'm afraid you won't even have the chance to make your move. Chapter 3269. How arrogant! Huang Lunan was completely enraged by Duan Lingtian's words. Flames rose from his body as though he had transformed into a flaming man. Huang Lunan had comprehended the law of fire. Moreover, his cultivation base had already broken through to the level of a 6-combo celestial lord, and he had also comprehended 5 profundities from the law of fire to the mastery stage. For this reason, he was confident he could do what Duan Lingtian had done in the first round of the new disciples' assessment. Duan Lingtian today. I'll let you know that a prodigious disciple's dignity is not to be trifled with, Huang Lunan said coldly as he transformed into a ball of flames and shot out, leaving behind a scorching aura in the air. Even the disciples from the heavenly pool palace who were standing far away could feel the heat from Huang Lunan's energy. Although Huang Lunan is ranked 10th among the prodigious disciples between the age of 200 and 300, his strength is not far from the top few prodigious disciples. That's right, Huang Lunan has not always been ranked 10th. In the past, he was ranked 6th at most. Huang Lunan is still very strong. It's going to be difficult for Duan Lingtian to become a prodigious disciple. Many disciples from the heavenly pool palace whispered among themselves as Huang Lunan made his move. However, in the next moment, the expressions on their faces completely froze. Whoosh! Under everyone's watchful eyes, when Huang Lunan approached Duan Lingtian, it was as though he had bumped into something in the air. His entire body came to a halt as he tried to move forward with all his might. However, he was completely helpless. Then, he tried to move in another direction, but it was to no avail. Humph! Do you think you can restrain me with your spatial shackles? Huang Lunan sneered as he looked at Duan Lingtian from afar. It was obvious he could tell Duan Lingtian had cast the law of space's restraining profundity to imprison him in a void, preventing him from leaving. Boom, 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 boom. Accompanied by a series of loud booms, violent flames swept out from Huang Lunan's body, constantly attacking the spatial prison that imprisoned him. Under everyone's watchful eyes, Huang Lunan's entire body was engulfed in flames. The flames took the shape of a cube, and its surface was constantly trembling, as if it could erupt at any moment. Duan Lingtian's spatial shackles can actually withstand Huang Lunan's attacks for so long? No wonder this Duan Lingtian dares to challenge a genius disciple. It seems like he does have some skills. However, judging from the current situation, it won't be difficult for Huang Lunan to break free from his shackles. It's only a matter of time. Just as everyone was whispering, Huang Lunan finally broke free from Duan Lingtian's spatial shackles, and a smug smile appeared on his face. However, the smile on his face quickly froze. The moment he discovered that Duan Lingtian had disappeared from where he stood, his expression changed drastically. Then, the flames on his body burned even more fiercely, as if they were going to burn everything. There was nothing more intense than a raging inferno. Specks of flames rose into the air and transformed into roaring fire dragons. These fire dragons were mainly aimed at the people behind him. Is that all you've got? Under everyone's watchful eyes, Duan Lingtian teleported behind Huang Lunan. He struck out with his palm, and the terrifying spatial energy wreaked havoc. It shrouded the roaring fire dragons and turned them into ashes. Bang! After the fire dragons were annihilated, a loud noise reverberated in the air. Huang Lunan was sent flying by Duan Lingtian's palm. He looked slightly wretched. When he finally managed to stabilize himself, Duan Lingtian teleported again and appeared next to him. Bang! Duan Lingtian sent Huang Lunan flying again with a kick. Whoosh! With another teleportation, Duan Lingtian appeared above Huang Lunan, who was sent flying. He raised his hand and struck again, dispersing the celestial origin energy that Huang Lunan did not have time to gather. Bang! 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 Although Huang Lunan tried to resist, every time he tried to gather the celestial origin energy in his body, Duan Lingtian would appear next to him and attack him. Duan Lingtian's speed of gathering celestial origin energy was much faster than Huang Lunan's. This made Huang Lunan feel helpless. How can this be? Huang Lunan was filled with resentment. He did not expect Duan Lingtian to have 99 heavenly veins. In terms of gathering celestial origin energy, only someone with 99 heavenly veins could compare to Duan Lingtian. What's going on? Huang Lunan is being completely dominated by Duan Lingtian? That's impossible. How can he not be able to fight back at all? Is he giving in to Duan Lingtian? Is this an inside job? The Heavenly Pool Palace's disciples could not understand Huang Lunan's predicament. In their opinion, Huang Lunan was deliberately giving in to Duan Lingtian. No. If he wants to give in to Duan Lingtian, Why can't he just pretend that he's defeated? I think so as well. If he really wants to give in to Duan Lingtian, there's no need for him to keep pretending, right? The Heavenly Pool Palace's disciples shuddered when they saw Huang Lunen's predicament. If they were in Huang Lunen's shoes, they would have admitted defeat a long time ago. Ha ha ha. Hong Fei laughed mockingly. He narrowed his eyes as he looked at Lu Jian, who was standing nearby, and said with a smile, Lu Jian, it seems like your junior brother isn't good enough. He doesn't even recognize my little junior brother. He's really tenacious. In my opinion, we should just change his name to Huang Xiaochong. What do you think? At this moment, Hong Fei had a smug expression on his face. Upon hearing Hong Fei's words, Lu Jian's expression darkened when he saw Huang Lunen being tortured by Duan Lingtian. Then, he shouted, enough. However, no one paid any attention to him. Since Huang Lunen did not admit defeat, Duan Lingtian continued to torture Huang Lunen. In fact, it was not that Duan Lingtian wanted to torture Huang Lunen. It was just that after a few rounds, he discovered he was able to cast the profundities from the law of space more smoothly. It was as though he was a baby who had just learned how to speak. This feels good. At this moment, Duan Lingtian felt extremely carefree. For this reason, he was not in a hurry to severely injure Huang Lunen. Instead, he only inflicted some minor injuries on Huang Lunen. Ever since he had comprehended all the profundities from the law of space to the mastery stage, he had never been able to attack as freely as he did today. At this moment, he felt extremely comfortable. However, compared to Duan Lingtian's comfort, Huang Lunen felt as though he was in an abyss of suffering. If he had been severely injured, he would have admitted defeat long ago. It was precisely because he discovered every time Duan Lingtian attacked him, he only felt intense pain and did not suffer any substantial injuries that he did not admit defeat. Presently, Duan Lingtian had completely occupied the initiative and was suppressing him. He really wanted to turn the situation around. Even if it was only for a moment, he would still be willing to throw in a punch at Duan Lingtian and admit defeat. However, as time passed, Huang Lunen finally lost all hope. Moreover, Lu Jian kept urging him to admit defeat through voice transmission. He had no choice but to admit defeat. I admit defeat. You're admitting defeat just like that? When Duan Lingtian saw Huang Lunen admitting defeat, he frowned as though he wanted to continue. Duan Lingtian, from today onward, you're ranked 10th among the prodigious disciples between the age of 200 to 300 years old. The Sword Trial Pavilion's elder raised his hand and handed Huang Lunen's identity token to Duan Lingtian before he announced in a clear voice. Then, he reminded Duan Lingtian to drip his blood on the token to claim ownership of the token. All right. At the same time, Duan Lingtian performed the blood ownership claim on the identity token in his hand. The Heavenly Pool Palace's disciples were not surprised by this outcome. After all, they had expected this outcome when they saw Duan Lingtian beating up Huang Lunen earlier. Meanwhile, the Sword Trial Pavilion elder was preparing to leave. After all, both of them were disciples of Lei Ying, the Sword Trial Pavilion's pavilion master. Moreover, Lei Jun was the only son of the pavilion master in their time. Elder. Duan Lingtian called out to the Sword Trial Pavilion elder just as he was about to leave. HM? Since the Sword Trial Pavilion elder knew Duan Lingtian and Huan were close, he was polite to Duan Lingtian. Duan Lingtian, is there anything else? Elder, now that I've obtained this identity token, I've replaced Huang Lunen as a prodigious disciple. I'm currently ranked 10th among the prodigious disciples between the age of 200 to 300 years old. If I want to be ranked higher, can I challenge someone who's ranked higher? Duan Lingtian asked without beating around the bush. If you challenge someone who's ranked higher than you can only challenge someone who's not ranked in the top 3. Even if you're ranked 5th, you can't challenge someone who's ranked 3rd, the Sword Trial Pavilion elder said. Currently, you can only challenge someone who's ranked 4th among the prodigious disciples between the age of 200 to 300 years old. You'll only be qualified to challenge someone who's ranked 3rd if you defeat the person who's ranked 4th. The Sword Trial Pavilion elder replied. Is there no other way? Duan Lingtian frowned slightly. He did not want to go through so much trouble. After all, He only managed to rank first among the prodigious disciples between the age of 200 to 300 years old after fighting so many prodigious disciples. Once he reached the top, his status in the heavenly pool palace would be greatly elevated. At that time, it would be much easier for him to find Huan Er's parents. What? Duan Lingtian, are you trying to challenge someone who's ranked in the top 3? Naturally, it's not impossible for you to challenge someone who's ranked in the top 3. Lu Jian, who was about to leave with Huang Lunan, sneered when he heard Duan Lingtian's question. You can challenge me if you want. As long as you can defeat me, you can even challenge someone who's ranked first among the prodigious disciples, let alone the top 3. A mocking smile appeared on Lu Jian's face when he reached the end of his sentence. Chapter 3270. Upon hearing Lu Jian's words, Duan Lingtian raised an eyebrow and looked at the elder from the sword trial pavilion. The elder's eyes narrowed slightly when he heard Lu Jian's words. When he saw Duan Lingtian looking at him, he said, "Indeed, it's as he said. If a prodigious disciple under the age of 900 wants to challenge the top 3 prodigious disciples in their age group, they only have to fulfill one condition. That is, they have to challenge a prodigious disciple of a higher age group." The elder from the sword trial pavilion said, as long as they defeat the prodigious disciple, they'll have the opportunity to challenge any prodigious disciple in their age group. They can even challenge the top prodigious disciple. Moreover, they can't refuse the challenge. The elder from the sword trial pavilion glanced at Lu Jian and said, as for the prodigious disciple who's defeated by a prodigious disciple of a lower age group, not only will he have to hand over his prodigious disciple token, but he'll also lose the opportunity to become a prodigious disciple for the next 100 years. This is because he can't issue an invitation to the sword trial pavilion to challenge any prodigious disciple. The elder from the sword trial pavilion finished speaking. What do you think? Duan Lingtian, do you want to fight me? Lu Jian grinned from ear to ear. Little junior brother. Ignore him. At this moment, Hong Fei's expression changed when he saw Duan Lingtian looking at Lu Jian. He hastily stopped Duan Lingtian, as though he was afraid Duan Lingtian would really challenge Lu Jian. Duan Lingtian. The elder from the sword trial pavilion looked at Duan Lingtian and said, Duan Lingtian will lose the opportunity to become a prodigious disciple for the next 100 years. For this reason, it doesn't matter if the prodigious disciple loses the opportunity to become a prodigious disciple. Unless one of the prodigious disciples surrenders, the other party can't make a move. If the prodigious disciple fails to surrender before he dies, the prodigious disciple won't be held responsible even if he dies. This is also a rule in the heavenly pool palace. The elder from the sword trial pavilion explained patiently. Regardless of life or death, Duan Lingtian raised his eyebrows, then looked at Lu Jian and asked meaningfully, Why? You, Lu Jian, want to kill me? Lu Jian chuckled. What? Do you dare to challenge me? As his voice faded, the corners of Lu Jian's mouth curled into a mocking smile. Little junior brother, since we have obtained the identity of a genius disciple, we can go back now, Hong Fei said to Duan Lingtian. He was very worried that his junior brother would challenge Lu Jian in a fit of anger. Judging from the current situation, his junior brother was definitely a person with a temperament. Otherwise, he wouldn't have tortured Huang Lunan to such an extent just now. This Duan Lingtian. Lei Jun narrowed his eyes at Duan Lingtian. He couldn't help but wish that Duan Lingtian would challenge Lu Jian to a duel. However, he also knew that this was not very realistic. It was basically impossible for Duan Lingtian to challenge Lu Jian, because that would be akin to seeking death. Lu Jian was a prodigious disciple between the ages of 600 and 700. He was an 8-trigram celestial lord, and he had comprehended 6 profundities from the law of metal to the mastery stage. His strength was not something his junior brother, Huang Lunan, could compare to. Third junior sister, I don't think your brother Ling Tian dares to challenge Lu Jian. Lei Jun looked at Huan Er and said with a smile, although Lu Jian's strength is not bad, he's ranked at the bottom of the group of prodigies in his age group. First, Lei Jun said Duan Lingtian did not dare to challenge Lu Jian. Then, he began to belittle Lu Jian. Naturally, Lei Jun did not want to belittle Duan Lingtian directly. Instead, He wanted to use Lu Jian to belittle Duan Ling Tian. This was because he knew very well that if he directly belittled Duan Ling Tian, it would only make his little junior sister feel disgusted, and she would gradually drift away from him. However, she did not pay any attention to him. She was no longer the same person she used to be. After experiencing the ways of the world, she had learned many things. For example, how could she not understand Lei Jun's intention to use the Lu clan to belittle Duan Ling Tian? It was precisely because Lei Jun had belittled Duan Ling Tian that she no longer wanted to talk to him, even though he was the only son of her teacher, Leiang. Elder, if I challenge Lu Jian, does that mean I don't have to go through the registration process? Duan Ling Tian asked the elder of the Sword Trial Pavilion. Upon hearing Duan Ling Tian's words, not only was the elder of the Sword Trial Pavilion stunned, but even the disciples of the Heavenly Pool Palace were stunned. Duan Ling Tian really wanted to challenge Lu Jian? Was he trying to court death? Can't Duan Ling Tian see that Lu Jian is trying to provoke him? He's really going to challenge Lu Jian? Is he out of his mind? Lu Jian is a prodigious disciple between the ages of 600 and 700. Moreover, he's an 8-trigram celestial lord who has comprehended 6 profundities from the law of metal to the mastery stage. How can Duan Ling Tian defeat him? In my opinion, he must have fallen for Lu Jian's provocation. In the heat of the moment, he decided to challenge Lu Jian. The disciples of the Heavenly Pool Palace shook their heads as they discussed among themselves. They looked at Duan Ling Tian as though they were looking at a fool. Lu Jian's eyes lit up. He did not expect Duan Ling Tian would fall for his provocation. Could it be that Duan Ling Tian couldn't see through his direct provocation? Little junior brother. Hong Fei's expression changed drastically. He did not expect Duan Ling Tian would fall for his provocation. He quickly sent a voice transmission to dissuade Duan Ling Tian. 6 senior brother, don't worry. Upon hearing Hong Fei's voice transmission, Duan Ling Tian merely sent a voice transmission to reassure Hong Fei. He had no intention of changing his mind. At this moment, the Sword Trial Pavilion elder glanced at Lu Jian and said, "If you agree, you don't have to go through the registration process." Elder Qin, I agree. Lu Jian was afraid Duan Ling Tian would go back on his word. He was the first to speak when the Sword Trial Pavilion elder turned to look at him. Duan Ling Tian, let's see if you dare to challenge me or not. After Lu Jian finished speaking, he looked at Duan Ling Tian with a disdainful grin on his face. He was clearly provoking Duan Ling Tian. Elder, I'll challenge him. Duan Ling Tian said bluntly as he looked at the Sword Trial Pavilion elder. Duan Ling Tian, you better think this through. Now that you've said this, you won't be able to escape if he removes the identity token and hands it over to me. The Sword Trial Pavilion elder looked at Duan Ling Tian and solemnly reminded him. If it was an ordinary person, he would not have tried to persuade him. However, Duan Ling Tian was not an ordinary person. He was Lei Ying's disciple, the Sword Trial Pavilion master's disciple. I've thought it through. Duan Ling Tian nodded. Lu Jian took out his identity token and handed it over to the Sword Trial Pavilion elder after removing the identity token. Elder Qin, since he's so confident, you should just let him be. If you insist on persuading him, he might be displeased. Lu Jian removed the identity token from his identity token and handed it over to the Sword Trial Pavilion elder. As long as he defeated Duan Ling Tian, he would be able to retrieve his identity token. However, if he lost, he would be stripped of his status as a prodigious disciple. Moreover, he would not be able to become a prodigious disciple for 100 years even if he was strong enough. This was to prevent people from deliberately going easy on him. After the Sword Trial Pavilion elder took Lu Jian's identity token, he looked at Duan Ling Tian and said, Duan Ling Tian, your battle with the Lu clan is a battle of life and death. Naturally, you can choose to admit defeat. At that time, Lu Jian won't be able to continue attacking you. Whoosh! After the Sword Trial Pavilion elder took Lu Jian's identity token, he flew toward one of the prodigy arenas in a streak of golden light and waited for Duan Ling Tian. At this moment, Lu Jian was no longer in a hurry. Since he had handed over his identity token, it was too late for Duan Ling Tian to go back on his word. Naturally, Duan Ling Tian could also admit defeat now. Although many people understood Duan Ling Tian's reason for admitting defeat, His reputation in the heavenly pool palace would be tarnished. Many people would not allow such a thing to happen to his reputation. There was a big difference between admitting defeat without a fight and admitting defeat at the last moment. Elder, does this mean he won't be punished if he kills me before I admit defeat? Even if I kill him before he admits defeat, he won't be punished, right? Duan Lingtian asked the Sword Trial Pavilion Elder through voice transmission. Upon hearing Duan Lingtian's question, the Sword Trial Pavilion Elder was taken aback. After a while, he replied through voice transmission, "That's right." After replying to Duan Lingtian through voice transmission, the Sword Trial Pavilion Elder's heart skipped a beat. Why is Duan Lingtian asking me this? Could it be that he intends to kill Lu Jian? While the Sword Trial Pavilion Elder was still puzzled, Duan Lingtian teleported and disappeared from his spot. When he reappeared, he was standing opposite Lu Jian in the Prodigy Arena. Little junior brother. Hong Fei's expression changed drastically. He had been trying to persuade Duan Lingtian through voice transmission, but Duan Lingtian had ignored him. Apart from replying to him in the beginning, Duan Lingtian had completely ignored him. Duan Lingtian. He actually agreed to it? Lei Jun's eyes widened slightly. However, his eyes shone brightly when he saw this. This was what he had been waiting for the most. In his opinion, Duan Lingtian would definitely die if he fought Lu Jian. It seems like I don't even have to make a move myself. Lu Jian will be able to kill him for me, Lei Jun thought to himself. However, he did not dare to show it on his face. He looked at Huan and shook his head as he said, Huan your brother Lingtian is too impulsive. Didn't you try to persuade him? Lu Jian is very strong. He might not be able to defeat Lu Jian. However, Huan did not respond to Lei Jun's words. It was as though she had completely ignored him. She continued to look at the purple figure on the Prodigy Arena as though he was the only person left in her world. Chapter 3271. As expected of a disciple whom Lord Su Lang, the Verdant Prairie Celestial Emperor, took the initiative to accept. You're courageous and courageous, Lu Jian said with a faint smile on his face as he looked at Duan Lingtian condescendingly. However, Duan Lingtian ignored Lu Jian. His expression was indifferent, as though he did not take Lu Jian seriously at all. In fact, he did not take Lu Jian seriously at all. Let's begin. Under the watchful eyes of the others, the Sword Trial Pavilion Elder spoke. At the same time, he sent a voice transmission to Duan Lingtian. Duan Lingtian, if you're no match for him, admit defeat in time. Thank you for your reminder, Elder. Duan Lingtian was, naturally, grateful for the Elder's reminder even though he knew it was only for Huan's sake. As for his sixth senior brother Hong Fei's reminder, he was naturally grateful. However, he knew that in front of Hong Fei, unless he really used his strength to prove himself, Hong Fei would not think that he, who was not even 300 years old, could be Lu Jian's opponent. After all, Lu Jian's strength was on par with Hong Fei. In fact, Lu Jian was even stronger than Hong Fei to a certain extent. Otherwise, Lu Jian would not be ranked higher than Hong Fei among the prodigious disciples between the ages of 600 to 700 years old. It was precisely because he knew that Hong Fei wouldn't believe him that he only responded to Hong Fei at the beginning and turned a deaf ear to Hong Fei's voice transmission later on. In fact, he even intentionally blocked Hong Fei's voice transmission. Duan Lingtian, I won't bully you. You can make the first move. Although Lu Jian did not think Duan Lingtian was a match for him, his celestial origin energy surged out of his body as he was shrouded in a layer of golden light. It was as though he had transformed into a golden man. From afar, it was as though he was a Buddha. Upon hearing Lu Jian's words, Duan Lingtian narrowed his eyes before a faint smile appeared on his face. It seemed like Lu Jian really did not think highly of him. Whoosh! As soon as Lu Jian finished speaking, Duan Lingtian did not say anything. He teleported and vanished from his spot. Whoosh! When he reappeared, Duan Lingtian was already near Lu Jian. With a thought, he used the space law's confinement profundity to confine the space around Lu Jian. Duan Lingtian's spatial imprisonment this time was different from the one he used against Huang Lunan. To deal with Huang Lunan, he would imprison him alone. In order to deal with Lu Jian, he had trapped both himself and Lu Jian in the same place. and they were less than 10 meters away from each other. Furthermore, Duan Lingtian wasn't in a hurry to make a move. He stood within the confined space, facing off against Lu Jian with a distance of 10 meters between them. At this moment, the golden light emitted from Lu Jian's body, which had been fused with the basic element of the law of metal, had even spread to a spot not far from Duan Lingtian's body. This Duan Lingtian, what is he doing? Is he provoking senior brother Lu Jian? Why is he standing so close to senior brother Lu Jian? There's an obvious spatial energy fluctuation in the space they're in. Moreover, the spatial energy fluctuation must be from Duan Lingtian's restraining profundity. Did he imprison Duan Lingtian and Lu Jian together? Is he crazy? Isn't he seeking death by standing so close to Lu Jian? Lu Jian is an 8-trigram celestial lord who has comprehended the law of metal. Moreover, he's skilled in offense. Duan Lingtian's greatest advantage is his teleportation profundity. Isn't he wasting his advantage by standing so close to Lu Jian? What's he trying to do? The disciples of the Heavenly Pool Palace were dumbfounded when they saw this. In fact, they were not the only ones who were dumbfounded. Even the Sword Trial Pavilion's elder who presided over the battle between the prodigies was dumbfounded. He had no idea what was going on in Duan Lingtian's mind. Not only did Duan Lingtian not utilize his advantage, but he even exposed his weakness to Duan Lingtian. Duan Lingtian is digging his own grave. Does he think senior brother Lu's strength is on par with mine? Earlier, Huang Lu Nan had been defeated by Duan Lingtian. It was easy to imagine how much resentment Duan Lingtian had for him. Now that he saw how arrogant Duan Lingtian was, he could not help but laugh mockingly. Third junior sister, this brother Lingtian of yours is really irrational. Lei Jun looked at Huan with a smile on his face. Although Huan ignored Lei Jun, he still took the initiative to talk to her. Even if Huan did not speak, he could still entertain himself by chatting with her. Naturally, although Lei Jun said that Duan Lingtian was not rational, he was laughing in his heart. After all, he could not wait for Duan Lingtian to lose his mind. If Duan Lingtian lost his mind, it would be more likely that Duan Lingtian would be killed. Lu Jian, however, he did not vent his anger on Huan. Instead, he directed his anger at Duan Lingtian. For this reason, he could not help but send a voice transmission to Lu Jian, who was standing opposite Duan Lingtian. Lu Jian's expression changed slightly when he heard Duan Lingtian's words. Lei Jun. Before Lu Jian could reply, Lei Jun continued to say, "Don't miss this opportunity to kill Duan Lingtian. Once you're done, I'll give you a purely defensive Emperor-grade celestial weapon." A purely defensive Emperor-grade celestial weapon was considered a rare treasure even in heaven-grade forces. In the Heavenly Pool Palace, only those who had broken through to the Celestial Emperor realm would be given a purely defensive Emperor-grade celestial weapon. Otherwise, they would have to rely on themselves to obtain a purely defensive Emperor-grade celestial weapon. They would either have to make a certain contribution to the Heavenly Pool Palace or perform exceptionally well in the Heavenly Pool Palace's assessment. Naturally, there was another way to obtain a purely defensive Emperor-grade celestial weapon without relying on oneself or breaking through to become a celestial emperor. For example, the children of titled celestial emperors in the Heavenly Pool Palace like Lei Jun. Although purely defensive Emperor-grade celestial weapons were precious to the 9 titled celestial emperors in the Heavenly Pool Palace, they still had a few of them. Naturally, they would not be stingy with their children. For example, Lei Jun had been given a purely defensive Emperor-grade celestial weapon by his mother, Lei Ying, the pavilion master of the Sword Trial Pavilion. She was also the merciless celestial emperor. After he became a celestial emperor, the Heavenly Pool Palace gave him another purely defensive Emperor-grade celestial weapon. Moreover, he had also obtained a purely defensive Emperor-grade celestial weapon after passing a test in the Heavenly Pool Palace 100 years ago. In Lei Jun's opinion, giving away a purely defensive Emperor-grade celestial weapon was not a big deal at all. It was just one less item in his spatial ring. However, for a prodigious disciple like Lu Jian, who did not have a purely defensive Emperor-grade celestial weapon, a purely defensive Emperor-grade celestial weapon was a life-saving treasure. For this reason, Lu Jian's eyes lit up when he heard Lei Jun's words. After all, he had no intention of letting Duan Lingtian live. As long as he had the chance, he would kill Duan Lingtian. When he heard Lei Jun's voice transmission, although he did not know how Duan Lingtian had offended Lei Jun's promise was enough to drive him crazy. After all, a purely defensive Emperor-grade celestial weapon was something he had always dreamed of obtaining. Duan Lingtian, it seems like you're really confident in your strength. You actually dared to give up your advantage of teleporting and enter the shackles of space to fight me. Lu Jian looked at Duan Lingtian as a sneer appeared on the corner of his mouth. Although the shackles of space were cast by Duan Lingtian, to a certain extent, Lu Jian could ignore the shackles of space. Even so, the shackles' profundity from the law of space still affected the space around them. Moreover, in a space affected by the law of space, the teleportation profundity would be greatly affected. For example, it would take Duan Lingtian 1 to 2 breaths to cast the teleportation profundity to leave the shackles of space. These 2 breaths were more than enough time for Lu Jian to do many things. As expected of my junior and senior brother, upon hearing Lu Jian's words, Duan Lingtian glanced at Lu Jian indifferently. Before you, your junior brother, Huang Lunan, also thought he would win when we fought. What happened to him in the end? What? Do you think I'll follow in my junior brother's footsteps? Lu Jian sneered. If my junior brother hadn't been careless and allowed you to gain the upper hand, it wouldn't have been easy for you to defeat my junior brother. Although Duan Lingtian and Huang Lunan had fought earlier to hone the profundities from the law of space that he had comprehended, in Lu Jian's opinion, Duan Lingtian's failure to defeat Huang Lunan was more likely because Duan Lingtian was not much stronger than Huang Lunan. You're all talk and no action. Make your move, Duan Lingtian said indifferently. As you wish. In just a blink of an eye, Lu Jian transformed into a ray of golden light that flashed before everyone's eyes as he charged toward Duan Lingtian. Swoosh! When the golden light neared Duan Lingtian, it transformed into a golden sword ray that seemed indestructible and menacing. Duan Lingtian narrowed his eyes. With a sway of his body, a furious space energy swept out. At the same time, 9 space tiers appeared around him. The space territory shook as it enveloped the golden sword ray. Within the space territory, the vibrating space energy was like small snakes that charged toward the golden sword ray as though they were not afraid of death. As for the golden sword radiance, it was like a merciless harvest, constantly harvesting the lives of these small snakes. Magnetic storm profundity. With just a thought from Duan Lingtian, the space energy in the space territory that looked like small snakes suddenly swelled and turned into large pythons. Just a few pythons were enough to dim the golden sword ray. It should be noted that the golden sword ray was indestructible. The small snakes were not enough to kill it at all. I didn't expect Duan Lingtian to have comprehended so many profundities from the law of space to the mastery stage. However, let's stop here. Lu Jian narrowed his eyes as he stood in the middle of the golden sword ray. Until now, he had only used a small portion of his strength. The reason he had held back so much was because he wanted to use his full strength to kill Duan Lingtian in one fell swoop. Chapter 3272. In Lu Jian's opinion, if he had unleashed his full strength from the beginning, Duan Lingtian would have admitted defeat before he could even kill Duan Lingtian. If Duan Lingtian admitted defeat, he would not be able to kill Duan Lingtian. After all, if he killed Duan Lingtian, he would be punished by the Heavenly Pool Palace. Based on his status in the Heavenly Pool Palace, he would be sentenced to death. Although he was a prodigious disciple in the Heavenly Pool Palace, his innate talent and comprehension ability were the lowest among the 100 prodigious disciples in the Heavenly Pool Palace. In order to uphold the rules of the Heavenly Pool Palace, it was impossible for them to spare his life. For this reason, Lu Jian did not unleash his full strength when he attacked Duan Lingtian. He had concealed most of his strength, so he could kill Duan Lingtian with one strike when he was close to Duan Lingtian. Duan Lingtian seems to be quite strong. Why do I feel like senior brother Lu Jian didn't unleash his full strength? Is this all he's got? Based on the strength he displayed so far, at most, it's comparable to Huang Lunan. He must have concealed his strength. Many of the Heavenly Pool Palace's disciples who were spectators could see Lu Jian, had intentionally concealed his strength when he fought Duan Lingtian. It seems like senior brother Lu wants to kill Duan Lingtian. Upon seeing Lu Jian's reaction, Huang Lunan, naturally, could guess Lu Jian's intention. A hint of bloodlust could be seen in his eyes. Previously, Duan Lingtian had humiliated him in public. If news of this spread, he would definitely be humiliated. Everyone who saw him or Duan Lingtian would be reminded of today's incident. However, if Duan Lingtian died, he would not have to worry about this at all. Junior brother Lingtian, Lu Jian has concealed most of his strength. He wants to kill you. Hurry up and admit defeat. If others could see this, how could Hong Fei, who had been Lu Jian's old rival for many years, not see this? Because of this, his small eyes narrowed as he anxiously transmitted his voice to Duan Lingtian. As soon as Hong Fei finished speaking, under the watchful eyes of the crowd, the golden sword light that was being continuously depleted by Duan Lingtian's space energy suddenly surged without any warning. Whoosh! Crash! Under the watchful eyes of the others, the golden sword ray exploded and transformed into tens of thousands of golden sword rays in just a blink of an eye. They filled Duan Lingtian's confinement space. Not only that, but there were even golden light spots that appeared around the confinement space before they exploded. It was the explosive power of the golden sword light that had directly penetrated Duan Lingtian's space law imprisonment profundity. In the next moment, before everyone's eyes, Duan Lingtian was engulfed by the golden sword light that filled the sky. It was as if he had been completely submerged by a golden flood, leaving no trace behind. Whoosh! 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 The ear-piercing sound of swords whistling in the air rang in the air, sending chills down the spines of the heavenly pool palace's disciples' spines. After all, there was another person at the center of the storm. This is Lu Jian's strength? I knew Lu Jian had been concealing his strength earlier. Look, this is his true strength. How terrifying. It's too terrifying. Let alone Duan Lingtian, even Hong Fei, Duan Lingtian's senior brother, would be severely injured by this attack if he's caught off guard. Lu Jian wants to kill Duan Lingtian. A hint of pity could be seen in the eyes of the heavenly pool palace's disciples as they looked at the sea of golden sword lights in the distance. Naturally, the pity in their eyes was directed at Duan Lingtian. If I'm in his shoes, I'll definitely die under such an attack. Huang Lunan's eyes lit up. He was certain Duan Lingtian would die under his senior brother's attack. Lu Jian wants to kill Duan Lingtian. At this moment, the Sword Trial Pavilion's elder who was presiding over the battle frowned slightly. He could tell Lu Jian wanted to kill Duan Lingtian. Otherwise, he would not have unleashed his full strength. It was clear Lu Jian wanted to kill Duan Lingtian. However, there was nothing he could do. This was a battle of life and death. This was a battle of life and death. Even if he did not want Duan Lingtian to die for Huan Er's sake, he could not interfere. The only way he could save Duan Lingtian was if Duan Lingtian admitted defeat. However, based on the current situation, even if Duan Lingtian wanted to admit defeat, he would not be able to do so. This was because with Duan Lingtian's strength, he would not be able to hold on for long even if he resisted with all his might. If he admitted defeat, he would be killed the moment he opened his mouth and was distracted. Die! Lei Jun's eyes flashed with a hint of satisfaction. However, when he looked at Huan Er who was standing nearby, he discovered her expression was as calm as ever. It was as though she was not worried about Duan Lingtian being killed by Lu Jian. What's going on? Lei Jun was puzzled. A ridiculous thought even appeared in his mind. Don't tell me she thinks Duan Lingtian will be able to survive Lu Jian's attack? Lei Jun knew that even if it was him, he would not be able to survive Lu Jian's attack before he was 500 years old. Little junior brother. Hong Fei's pupils constricted as he watched the sea of golden sword rays shrink. His chubby face started to tremble violently from anxiety. At the same time, in the storm of golden sword chi, Duan Lingtian's spatial energy was being suppressed by Lu Jian's energy. In the end, Lu Jian's sword chi was on the verge of completely destroying Duan Lingtian's spatial energy before it engulfed Duan Lingtian. I didn't expect Duan Lingtian to be able to hold on for so long under my attack. However, he'll die in 2 breaths at most. In one of the golden sword rays, Lu Jian was staring coldly at Duan Lingtian. In Lu Jian's opinion, Duan Lingtian was only able to hold on for so long because of his qi. If Duan Lingtian wanted to admit defeat, Lu Jian would be able to kill Duan Lingtian as soon as Duan Lingtian surrendered. That was what Lu Jian had been dreaming of. However, he did not expect Duan Lingtian to still be holding back. He had not unleashed all of his profundities from the law of space to the mastery stage. Was he not trying to numb Lu Jian's senses by doing this? Based on Lu Jian's estimation, if he unleashed all of his profundities from the law of space, he might be able to kill Lu Jian, but it would take some effort. Under such circumstances, Lu Jian would have a chance to surrender and beg for mercy. Duan Lingtian did not intend to spare the life of a person who intended to kill him. Profound divine metal, lend me a hand. Duan Lingtian communicated with the sixth form profound divine metal in his little world and asked for help. Although the profound divine metal was in its sixth form, it did not put on airs in front of Duan Lingtian. As soon as Duan Lingtian spoke, the profound divine metal released a vast energy from the law of metal from Duan Lingtian's little world and merged with Duan Lingtian's body. Many thanks. After Duan Lingtian expressed his gratitude to the profound divine metal, he looked at the tens of thousands of sword rays that were closing in on him. A hint of killing intent flashed in his eyes when he saw one of the sword rays. And that sword gleam, Lu Jian, was inside. Did he discover me? It was not difficult for Lu Jian to tell Duan Lingtian had discovered him when he noticed Duan Lingtian's gaze. However, he did not mind. In his opinion, even if Duan Lingtian had discovered him, there was nothing he could do to him. Lu Jian's strength had completely suppressed Duan Lingtian's. Die. When the tens of thousands of sword rays were closing in on Duan Lingtian, a sneer appeared on the corner of Lu Jian's lips. In his opinion, Duan Lingtian would definitely die in the span of a breath. However, in the next moment, the sneer on his face froze. This was because he discovered Duan Lingtian's spatial energy had suddenly increased and pushed his attack away. His expression changed drastically when he saw this. Duan Lingtian has concealed his strength. At this moment, Lu Jian was certain Duan Lingtian had concealed his strength even better than him. Duan Lingtian's true strength was higher than his. Duan Lingtian, you've concealed your strength well. Lu Jian was not in a hurry to admit defeat even though he knew Duan Lingtian had concealed his strength. He knew it was impossible for him to kill Duan Lingtian today, and he knew he was no match for Duan Lingtian. In his opinion, even if Duan Lingtian was stronger than him, it would not be by much. As long as he wanted to admit defeat, he could do so at any time. As soon as Lu Jian finished speaking, Duan Lingtian opened his mouth slightly, and a golden sword ray instantly flew out of it. It carried an indomitable aura as it charged toward Lu Jian. Lu Jian could not be more familiar with the power of the law of metal contained within the golden sword light. His expression changed drastically, and his eyes widened in shock. How can Duan Lingtian use the law of metal at the same time as the law of space? Furthermore, the power of the metal laws is so strong. All of this happened in the blink of an eye. No. At this moment, Lu Jian wanted to admit defeat. However, as soon as he opened his mouth, he discovered the golden sword ray that shot out from Duan Lingtian's mouth had already reached the space between his eyebrows. You've lived a good life to be able to die under my flying sword. Duan Lingtian glanced at Lu Jian indifferently. As soon as he sent a voice transmission to Lu Jian, the golden sword ray pierced through Lu Jian's forehead, killing him instantly. At the moment of Lu Jian's death, all of Lu Jian's attacks also disappeared. Before Lu Jian's attack completely disappeared, the golden sword ray that Duan Lingtian spat out had already disappeared into the distance under the watchful eyes of the crowd. The crowd did not think that the sword ray that was filled with the law of metal came from Duan Lingtian. They only thought that it was Lu Jian's doing. Chapter 3273. When the golden sword chief finally dissipated, the disciples from the heavenly pool palace shook their heads. They thought Duan Lingtian had died in Lu Jian's hands. Even Lei Jun and the elder from the sword trial pavilion shared the same thought. Little junior brother. Hong Fei's expression changed drastically. Huan was the only one who remained unfazed. Her expression was as calm as ever, and she did not seem flustered at all. After all, no one knew Duan Lingtian better than Huan Er. In Huan Er's opinion, based on Lu Jian's strength, it was impossible for him to be a match for her brother, Lingtian. Therefore, from the beginning to the end, she was not the slightest bit worried. For this reason, Huan Er was not surprised when the golden sword chi finally dissipated and revealed a purple figure. However, just because Huan Er was not surprised, it did not mean the others were not surprised as well. Duan Lingtian? How's this possible? Under everyone's watchful eyes, Duan Lingtian appeared unscathed. At the same time, Lu Jian's corpse fell from the sky and crashed heavily on the prodigy arena, turning into a pile of minced meat. Lu Jian was a prodigious disciple between the ages of 600 and 700. He was an 8-trigram celestial lord who had comprehended 6 profundities from the law of metal to the mastery stage. Even so, he was killed by a prodigious disciple between the ages of 200 and 300. Duan Lingtian. Lei Jun's eyes widened. A hint of disbelief could be seen in the depths of his eyes. He did not expect Duan Lingtian would be able to survive Lu Jian's attack. However, not only did Duan Lingtian survive Lu Jian's attack, but he even managed to kill Lu Jian. He found it hard to believe. What's going on? How did senior brother Lu Jian die? Did Duan Lingtian use a celestial talisman to kill senior brother Lu Jian? The prodigy arena doesn't exist. The prodigy arena isn't just a decoration. It's impossible to use a celestial talisman there. The disciples of the heavenly pool palace were stunned for a moment before they regained their senses. When they regained their senses, they looked at Duan Lingtian in a different light. No one would have thought that Lu Jian would die in the hands of Duan Lingtian. This prodigious disciple between the ages of 200 and 300 had just become a prodigious disciple today. However, as soon as he became a genius disciple, he killed Lu Jian. It was not hard to imagine how this matter would shake the entire heavenly pool palace. After all, in the history of the heavenly pool palace, similar incidents had happened before, but they were rare. The sword trial hall elder was stunned. He thought that Duan Lingtian had died at Lu Jian's hands, but he didn't expect that not only did Duan Lingtian survive, he even killed Lu Jian. How did he do it? At this moment, even the elders of the sword trial pavilion could not help but feel puzzled. They could not understand how Duan Lingtian could kill Lu Jian. Duan Lingtian was more than 300 years younger than Lu Jian. However, even though they were both prodigious disciples, Duan Lingtian still managed to kill Lu Jian despite the age gap between them. Lu Jian did not even have the chance to admit defeat. This was enough to show that Duan Lingtian was not as simple as it seemed. This is impossible. How's this possible? Wang Lunan, who was defeated by Duan Lingtian and kicked out of the ranks of the prodigious disciples by Duan Lingtian, thought his senior brother, Lu Jian, would be able to avenge him by killing Duan Lingtian. However, not only did his senior brother fail to avenge him, but he was also killed by Duan Lingtian. Huang Lunan found it hard to believe. He even thought he was dreaming. However, everything around him seemed to be telling him that he was not dreaming. Little junior brother, isn't this a little too much? Hong Fei, who thought Duan Lingtian had been killed by Lu Jian, was shocked when he saw Duan Lingtian was not killed by Lu Jian. Instead, Lu Jian managed to kill Lu Jian. Haha, little junior brother, I didn't expect you to be so strong. It seems like I've underestimated you. Huan teleported to Duan Lingtian's side and gently held Duan Lingtian's arm. At the same time, Hong Fei flew toward Duan Lingtian as he laughed heartily. Lu Jian had been his nemesis for many years. Neither of them could do anything to the other. Naturally, Hong Fei was happy to see Lu Jian killed by his little junior brother. After all, he hated Lu Jian from the bottom of his heart. Lei Jun's eyes turned cold when he saw Huan walking over to Duan Lingtian's side and holding his hand as though they were lovers. With a cold snort, he left. After Lei Jun left, Huang Lunan left as well since he felt he would only embarrass himself if he continued to stay. However, before he left, he sent a message to Huang Lunan and Lu Jian's teacher about Lu Jian's death. Huang Lunan and Lu Jian's teacher was a titled celestial emperor in the heavenly pool palace called Longwu. His name was Gu Changjiang. Duan Lingtian, I didn't expect you to be so strong. Lu Jian's strength is extraordinary, but you still managed to kill him. The Sword Trial Pavilion elder looked at Duan Lingtian and said with a sigh, I was lucky. Duan Lingtian smiled modestly. Lucky? Naturally, the Sword Trial Pavilion elder and the other heavenly pool palace disciples did not believe Duan Lingtian's words. Elder, can I challenge the top prodigious disciple in my age group now? Duan Lingtian asked as he looked at the Sword Trial Pavilion elder. Of course. The Sword Trial Pavilion elder nodded. When I return, inform me through his soul pearl that you want to challenge him. I'll inform you once he's decided on a time. He won't be able to refuse the challenge. If he doesn't accept the challenge within 3 months, you'll be able to climb to the top of your age group. The Sword Trial Pavilion elder said. Thank you, elder. Duan Lingtian nodded. In that case, I'll take my leave first. After bidding farewell to Duan Lingtian, the Sword Trial Pavilion elder nodded at Huan with a faint smile on his face. At this moment, a thunderous voice rang from afar, causing everyone's eardrums to tremble. Who killed my disciple? His voice was loud and clear like thunder, causing Duan Lingtian's expression to turn slightly solemn. Most importantly, Duan Lingtian was familiar with the person's name. Gu Changjiang was one of the 9 titled celestial emperors in the heavenly pool palace. His title was Martial Dragon, and people called him the Martial Dragon Celestial Emperor. Gu Changjiang came here personally? Duan Lingtian raised an eyebrow. He did not expect Gu Changjiang would come here personally for Lu Jian's death. Gu Changjiang? Upon hearing the voice, Hong Fei immediately sent a message to Su Lang, the Verdant Prairie Celestial Emperor, without any hesitation. In the heavenly pool palace, titled celestial emperors were high and mighty. If Gu Changjiang, the Martial Dragon Celestial Emperor, had killed Hong Fei's junior brother in a fit of rage, the heavenly pool palace would not kill him. At most, they would punish him. For this reason, Hong Fei did not hesitate to inform Su Lang, Duan Lingtian's teacher. Swoosh! Gu Changjiang was a tall and sturdy middle-aged man dressed in a loose green robe. His face was as fair as jade. When his gaze fell on the corpse on the prodigy's arena, his face suddenly darkened. Lu Jian was not the most outstanding disciple under his tutelage. However, Lu Jian was good with words. Therefore, Gu Changjiang was very satisfied with his disciple. He was furious when he learned that Lu Jian had been killed. Who's Duan Lingtian? Gu Changjiang hovered in the air as he swept his gaze across the crowd before his eyes finally landed on Duan Lingtian. After all, Duan Lingtian was too eye-catching. Not only was his appearance outstanding, but even Huan, who was holding his hand and wearing a veil, was also eye-catching. You killed my disciple? Gu Changjiang asked in a deep voice as he looked at Duan Lingtian. A powerful aura surged out of Gu Changjiang's body and pressed down on Duan Lingtian. If you're talking about Lu Jian, I had a life-or-death battle with him. Even if he's dead, it can only be attributed to his lack of skill. Duan Lingtian's expression remained unchanged in the face of Gu Changjiang's overbearing aura. It was as though he was not afraid at all. In fact, he was not afraid of Gu Changjiang's aura at all. After all, his body had been tempered by the heaven and earth spirit energy in the realms of gods. How could a mere titled celestial emperor's aura affect him? Lord Gu Changjiang. At this moment, the Sword Trial Pavilion elder stepped forward and said to Gu Changjiang, the battle between Duan Lingtian and Lu Jian was a life-or-death battle that I presided over. Did I say anything to you? Gu Changjiang glanced at the Sword Trial Pavilion elder indifferently before he raised his hand. A powerful energy surged out of his hand and slammed into the Sword Trial Pavilion elder, sending him flying. Blarg. As he was sent flying, the elder spat out a mouthful of blood, and his face turned extremely pale. Without any hesitation, the Sword Trial Pavilion elder tore a communication celestial talisman to notify Lei Ying, the pavilion master of the Sword Trial Pavilion. Gu Changjiang, the Martial Dragon Celestial Emperor, was being unreasonable. He could only wait for the pavilion master of the Sword Trial Pavilion, who was also a titled celestial emperor like Gu Changjiang, to arrive. Is Lord Gu Changjiang, the martial dragon celestial emperor, trying to avenge his disciple? I don't think so. Even if it's not difficult for him to kill Duan Lingtian, I don't think he dares to do so, right? I agree. If he does that, his reputation will be tarnished. At that time, everyone will know he's not a good person. The disciples of the heavenly pool palace who were watching felt their hearts in their mouths when they saw Gu Changjiang, the martial dragon celestial emperor, charging toward them. Chapter 3274. There were a total of 9 titled celestial emperors in the heavenly pool palace. Every titled celestial emperor in the heavenly pool palace was a powerhouse in the heavenly pool palace. Although Duan Lingtian was Su Lang's disciple, Su Lang, the verdant prairie celestial emperor, he was still new to the heavenly pool palace. Therefore, Su Lang might not be afraid of killing Duan Lingtian to avenge his disciple. You're just too weak. Under the watchful eyes of the others, Gu Changjiang stared coldly at Duan Lingtian. His voice was extremely cold. At the same time, he sent a voice transmission to Duan Lingtian. Duan Lingtian, you're just a new disciple of Su Lang. Even if I kill you, Su Lang won't hold it against me. I'll give you 2 options. The first option is to be killed by me. The second option is to leave Su Lang's faction and join my faction. If you join my faction and replace Lu Jian, not only will I not make things difficult for you, but I'll even provide you with better cultivation resources than the ones I gave Lu Jian. Although Su Changjiang's voice was filled with killing intent, it was clear that he was trying to persuade Duan Lingtian to leave Su Lang's faction and join his faction. Upon hearing Gu Changjiang's words, Duan Lingtian chuckled. What are you laughing at? Gu Changjiang's expression darkened. If I leave teacher Su Lang's tutelage and join your tutelage, who would know if you would take advantage of the fact that I haven't joined your tutelage to kill me? Duan Lingtian said indifferently. At that time, even Su Lang won't protect me anymore. It doesn't matter if I choose to be killed by you or join your faction, I'll still die. You're really good at scheming. Duan Lingtian said. I, Gu Changjiang, said that I won't kill you if you join my faction. I won't. Brat. You tricked me. Gu Changjiang scoffed. However, before he could finish speaking, his expression changed drastically. He realized Duan Lingtian was not speaking to him through voice transmission, and he was also led by Duan Lingtian to speak. At the same time, the Heavenly Pool Palace's disciples and the elder from the Sword Trial Pavilion looked at Gu Changjiang in a different light. Gu Changjiang, the martial dragon celestial emperor, actually threatened Duan Lingtian with his life after his disciple was killed? Brat, you're courting death. Gu Changjiang knew that he would be humiliated in front of the Heavenly Pool Palace if news of this spread. Therefore, he decided to attack Duan Lingtian. Sensing Gu Changjiang's killing intent, Duan Lingtian narrowed his eyes. Su Lang Laosher should be arriving soon, right? Just now, when Gu Changjiang was in the hospital, he sent a message to his current teacher, Su Lang. Su Lang also replied to him immediately, saying that he would come over immediately. Whoosh! As soon as Duan Lingtian finished thinking about this, and Gu Changjiang was about to make his move, the sound of a sword whistling in the air rang in the air. Following that, under the watchful eyes of the others, a green sword ray tore through the sky and landed near Duan Lingtian before a figure appeared. It was none other than Duan Lingtian's teacher, Su Lang, the verdant prairie celestial emperor. Gu Changjiang, do you still intend to disrespect me and attack my disciple? After Su Lang appeared, he glanced coldly at Gu Changjiang and asked coldly. From Su Lang's cold tone, it wasn't hard to detect Su Lang's current rage. At the same time, a terrifying aura surged out of Su Lang's body. It was as though he was ready to attack at any moment. The 2 titled celestial emperors were at loggerheads with each other. The eyes of the Heavenly Pool Palace's disciples lit up when they saw this. Soon after, more and more people began to gather in the prodigy arena. Su Lang, your disciple didn't even greet me. He's very rude. I only wanted to teach him a lesson so he'll learn to respect his elders. Upon seeing Su Lang's appearance, Gu Changjiang knew he could no longer attack Duan Lingtian. In fact, if he attacked Duan Lingtian now, Su Lang would most likely attack him before he could even touch Duan Lingtian. Moreover, Su Lang was much stronger than him. Swoosh. Soon after, another figure appeared. It was Lei Ying, the merciless celestial emperor, the pavilion master of the sword trial pavilion. Gu Changjiang, how dare you touch the people of my sword trial palace? Lei Ying said in a deep voice as she glared at Gu Changjiang coldly. Pavilion master Lei Ying, it's a misunderstanding. Seeing Lei Ying standing next to Su Lang and glaring at him like a tiger watching its prey, Gu Changjiang's expression changed immediately. Then, he forced a smile. He was puzzled. Why were the two of them together? If it was just one of them, he would not be afraid even if they were stronger than him. However, when the two of them were together, he could not help but feel afraid. A misunderstanding? Is it a misunderstanding that an elder from the sword trial pavilion was injured? Lei Ying's gaze turned even colder. When Gu Changjiang sensed Lei Ying's anger, Su Lang sent a voice transmission to Lei Ying. Lei Ying, let's join forces and show Gu Changjiang what he's made of. All right. Lei Ying agreed without hesitation. Soon after, the two of them made their moves at the same time, one on the left and one on the right, toward Gu Changjiang. This is, Lord Lei Ying and Lord Su Lang are going to attack Lord Gu Changjiang? Heavens! 3 titled celestial emperors are going to fight? Upon seeing Su Lang and Lei Ying charging toward Gu Changjiang at the same time, their celestial origin energies surged as they merged with their basic laws of profundity. It was not difficult for the disciples of the Heavenly Pool Palace to figure out that Su Lang and Lei Ying were going to attack Gu Changjiang. There were 9 titled celestial emperors in the Heavenly Pool Palace. 2 of them were going to attack another person. Moreover, both of them were stronger than the other person. There was no doubt that they would win if they joined forces. What's going on? Aren't they the Verdant Prairie Celestial Emperor and the Merciless Celestial Emperor? That's the Martial Dragon Celestial Emperor. Many disciples of the Heavenly Pool Palace who had just arrived were stunned when they saw the 2 titled Celestial Emperors attacking Gu Changjiang. It's better to come at the right time than to come at the right time. It's obvious these 2 titled Celestial Emperors are going to attack Gu Changjiang. I wonder how many moves Gu Changjiang will be able to withstand? One of the disciples of the Heavenly Pool Palace chuckled as he spoke to the disciples of the Heavenly Pool Palace. Upon hearing this, the eyes of the disciples of the Heavenly Pool Palace lit up. At this moment, even Duan Lingtian and the Sword Trial Pavilion Elder did not expect Su Lang and Lei Ying to attack Gu Changjiang. The Sword Trial Pavilion Elder, in particular, looked at Lei Ying with a hint of respect in his eyes. Su Lang, Lei Ying, what are you trying to do? Seeing that Su Lang and Lei Ying were actually joining hands, Gu Changjiang was so frightened that his expression changed. However, the current him was forced into a corner. Even if he did not want to fight the 2 of them, he had no choice but to defend himself. Boom! On Lei Ying's body, waves of rolling energy gushed out like a vast flood. They were like dragons and snakes, majestic and awe-inspiring. Purple lightning bolts could be seen swirling around Lei Ying's energy. At the same time, earth-shattering thunderclaps rang in the air. It was clear Lei Ying had comprehended the law of thunder. The law of thunder. Duan Lingtian narrowed his eyes when he saw Lei Ying's attack. It was not difficult for him to notice that Lei Ying had also comprehended all the profundities from the law of thunder to the mastery stage. What surprised him the most was that although Lei Ying's attack seemed simple and crude, there was a profound mystery to it. The profundities from the law of thunder seemed to be connected in a mysterious way. Under such circumstances, the effect is not as simple as 1 + 1. Duan Lingtian discovered this when he saw Lei Ying's attack. Indeed, a titled Celestial Emperor's attack was extraordinary. Swoosh, 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 swoosh. Unlike Lei Ying's simple and crude attack, Su Lang's attack was surrounded by sword rays. He pointed his finger at his opponents, causing the disciples of the Heavenly Pool Palace to shudder involuntarily. Su Lang had comprehended the law of ice. As soon as he attacked, the sword rays froze everything in its path. Su Lang, Lei Ying, don't go too far. Gu Changjiang's expression was unsightly when he saw 2 titled Celestial Emperors attacking him. He hastily defended himself with all his might. Go too far? Su Lang sneered. A moment later, Su Lang's attack, which was emitting an icy cold aura, was completely frozen when it came into contact with Gu Changjiang's attack. In the blink of an eye, Gu Changjiang's attack was shattered, and Su Lang's icy cold sword light became much dimmer. With just one exchange, Su Lang's strength had completely overwhelmed Gu Changjiang's strength. However, Su Lang's attack was only the first wave of their attack, an appetizer. While Su Lang did not continue to attack, Lei Ying's attack came. The power of thunder and lightning surged towards Gu Changjiang like a flood bursting through a dam. In just a blink of an eye, the surroundings were filled with purple lightning. Lei Ying's attack was like the wrath of the thunder god. Upon seeing this, Gu Changjiang's expression changed drastically. A bright light shone from his body as he quickly circulated his energy to form a powerful barrier around him. At the same time, the silhouette of armor shrouded Gu Changjiang. At this moment, Gu Changjiang was like a tortoise that had retracted its head, leaving only its shell to fend off the attack. Boom! Rumble! Lei Ying's attack landed on Gu Changjiang's defense, causing ripples in the air. After consuming about 50% of her energy, Gu Changjiang's defense finally broke. Bang! The remaining energy landed on Gu Changjiang's body, sending him flying in a wretched manner. When Gu Changjiang finally regained his footing, his body was already riddled with wounds. Although he was not severely injured, he was still severely injured. Bang! Bang! Chapter 3275. Gu Changjiang's attack was easily countered by Su Lang. Following that, Lei Ying's attack broke through Gu Changjiang's defense and injured him. All of this happened in just a blink of an eye. When the disciples of the Heavenly Pool Palace finally regained their senses, they saw Gu Changjiang's battered figure with blood trickling out of the corner of his mouth. He's injured. He was defeated in just one exchange. Lord Su Lang and Lord Lei Yin are really strong. It's normal. The Martial Dragon Celestial Emperor is weaker than the Verdant Prairie Celestial Emperor and the Merciless Celestial Emperor. He wouldn't be a match for either one of them, let alone both of them working together. They must have shown mercy. Otherwise, it wouldn't be difficult for them to kill the Martial Dragon Celestial Emperor if they worked together. Of course, they had to show mercy. After all, the Martial Dragon Celestial Emperor is a titled Celestial Emperor of the Heavenly Pool Palace. It's only right for them to stop fighting. Many disciples of the Heavenly Pool Palace sighed. Many of them began to talk about Duan Lingtian. Stop fighting? Earlier, Duan Lingtian didn't stop and killed Lu Jian. That's why the Martial Dragon Celestial Emperor was so angry. You're new here, right? How do you know? If you hadn't just arrived and watched the battle between Duan Lingtian and Lu Jian, you wouldn't think so. After all, Lu Jian was the one who tried to kill Duan Lingtian, and Duan Lingtian killed him. If you were in Duan Lingtian's shoes and someone tried to kill you, would you not kill him? Lu Jian only has himself to blame for his death. Perhaps he didn't expect Duan Lingtian to be able to kill him. Meanwhile, the disciples of the Heavenly Pool Palace who had just arrived were looking at Gu Changjiang, the Martial Dragon Celestial Emperor, differently. As it turned out, Gu Changjiang's disciple was the one who tried to kill Duan Lingtian first. That was how Duan Lingtian killed him. Gu Changjiang's disciple, Lu Jian, had brought this upon himself. On the other hand, Gu Changjiang had come to stand up for Lu Jian. I didn't expect there to be such a person among the titled celestial emperors in the Heavenly Pool Palace. How shameless. Didn't you see the Verdant Prairie Immortal Emperor and the Merciless Immortal Emperor joining forces? If it weren't for his shamelessness, would the two of them have joined forces? Shameful. It was too embarrassing. If news of this spreads, the entire Heavenly Pool Palace will be humiliated. Of course, at that time, the people from the other heaven-grade forces will say that the titled Celestial Emperor of the Heavenly Pool Palace is a person who doesn't know right from wrong. Although the whispers of the Heavenly Pool Palace's disciples were not loud, with Gu Changjiang's hearing, how could he not hear them? All of a sudden, Gu Changjiang's face darkened. It was extremely ugly. He was so angry that he wanted to vomit blood. Su Lang, Lei Ying, Gu Changjiang, will remember what happened today. After taking a deep look at Su Lang and Lei Ying, Gu Changjiang left after saying those words. It was as if he had disappeared into thin air before everyone's eyes. Naturally, he did not vanish into thin air. He was simply too fast for the others to catch sight of him. Upon seeing this, Su Lang and Lei Ying did not chase after Gu Changjiang. After all, they had taught Gu Changjiang a lesson. They did not intend to kill him. After all, Gu Changjiang was a titled celestial emperor in the Heavenly Pool Palace. He was one of the pillars of the Heavenly Pool Palace. The incident at the Heavenly Pool platform spread like wildfire. After this incident, many people realized that Su Lang, the Verdant Prairie Celestial Emperor, cared a lot about his new disciple and even attacked him out of anger. As for Lei Ying, the merciless Celestial Emperor, some people said she only attacked Lu Jian for the sake of her sword trial pavilion elder, while others said she only attacked Lu Jian for the sake of her new disciple. Although her new disciple was not targeted by Gu Changjiang, the martial dragon Celestial Emperor, Lei Ying was close to Su Lang's new disciple. After the incident at the Heavenly Pool platform, both Duan Lingtian and Huan became famous. This was especially true for Duan Lingtian. Although he was not even 300 years old, he had defeated a genius disciple between 600 and 700 years old. Although he was at the bottom of the list, it was enough to shock many people. After all, there was a 300-year age gap between them. Little junior brother, your reputation in the Heavenly Pool Palace is on par with eldest senior sister and second senior brother, Hong Fei said. Ever since Duan Lingtian killed Lu Jin a month ago, Hong Fei had been visiting Duan Lingtian. Naturally, Duan Lingtian was not cultivating when Hong Fei visited Duan Lingtian. This was because Hong Fei had sent a message to Duan Lingtian before he visited Duan Lingtian. During this month, Duan Lingtian did not cultivate since he did not forget the reason he came to the Heavenly Pool Palace with Huan. He wanted to look for Huan's parents. However, he did not find anything in the past month. Your reputation is on par with eldest senior sister and second senior brother, but your strength is much weaker. Duan Lingtian shook his head and said, among the many disciples under his teacher, Su Lang, his first senior sister and second senior brother were the strongest. As for the others, even the strongest third senior sister, who may, with the power of the 5 divine elements, he was confident that he could defeat her. You pervert, you actually want to compare yourself with eldest senior sister and second senior brother. Comparisons are odious. Why don't you think about how old you are? Hong Fei said as he shook his head. As soon as Hong Fei finished speaking, Duan Lingtian rose to his feet. What's wrong? Hong Fei asked curiously when he saw Duan Lingtian suddenly rising to his feet. Based on his little junior brother's reaction, it was obvious something had happened. I just received a message from the Sword Trial Pavilion. The person who's ranked first among the prodigious disciples between the ages of 200 to 300 years old sent me a letter. He wants me to fight in the prodigious arena in the afternoon. Duan Lingtian replied. In the afternoon? Upon hearing this, Hong Fei looked at the sky. It's almost noon. It seems like we'll be able to make our way there soon. All right. Duan Lingtian nodded before he said, I'll let Huan know. 6 senior brother, you can go back first. If you're interested in watching me fight that person in the afternoon, you can go to the prodigious arena. All right. After Hong Fei left, he did not forget to inform Duan Lingtian about the person he was going to challenge. That Fan Qi is the 5 elements divine emperor. He has comprehended 7 profundities from the law of wind to the mastery stage. Moreover, he's not human. It's said that he's an incarnation of a celestial tree. This was Hong Fei's message. As he spoke, he roughly introduced the information of Duan Lingtian's opponent in the afternoon. Not human? Upon hearing Hong Fei's message, Duan Lingtian was slightly taken aback. However, he was only slightly taken aback. Compared to the fact that Fan Qi was not human, he was more interested in the fact that Fan Qi had comprehended 7 profundities from the law of wind to the mastery stage. This was not something an ordinary 200-year-old person could achieve. Huan for the past month, Huan had not cultivated. She had been sleeping all the time. She had been relying on the supreme powerhouse Godhead to comprehend the law of space. However, she had not comprehended all the profundities from the law of space to the mastery stage. In this regard, she was slightly inferior to Duan Lingtian. As for Duan Lingtian, he had long comprehended all the profundities from the law of space to the mastery stage. Although he could still use the supreme powerhouse godhead to comprehend the law of space, his progress was extremely slow. After comprehending all the profundities from the law of space to the mastery stage, the only thing that mattered was the application of the profundities. Take celestial emperors, for example. More than half of them had comprehended all the profundities from the law of space to the mastery stage. If their cultivation bases were the same, the victor would usually be decided by the use of profundities from the law of space. For example, when Lei Ying and Su Lang fought a month ago, Duan Lingtian could sense their amazing use of profundities from the law of space. Their use of profundities allowed them to combine their profundities and profundities to unleash a power that surpassed 1 + 1 = 2. Meanwhile, Duan Lingtian went to wake Huan Er up. Outside the sword trial hall, many people saw the announcement that had just been made. Duan Lingtian would be challenging Fan Shi in the Prodigy Arena in the afternoon. Currently, almost everyone in the Heavenly Pool Palace knew who Duan Lingtian was. The only ones who did not know were those who had been in closed-door cultivation for more than a month. As for Fan Shi, apart from those who had been in closed-door cultivation for more than 300 years, almost everyone in the Heavenly Pool Palace knew who he was. Fan Shi was the strongest prodigious disciple in the Heavenly Pool Palace who was between 200 and 300 years old. He had even defeated a prodigious disciple who was between 700 and 800 years old. Naturally, the latter was only the weakest prodigious disciple in the Prodigy Arena. Even so, it was enough to shock everyone in the Heavenly Pool Palace. This was obvious when news of Duan Lingtian killing Lu Jin spread like wildfire in the Heavenly Pool Palace. Many people in the Heavenly Pool Palace were familiar with him. Duan Lingtian killed a prodigious disciple in the Prodigy Arena who was between 600 and 700 years old a month ago. Based on this, we can see how strong he is. If his opponent was someone else in the Prodigy Arena, I'd have confidence in him. However, his opponent this time is Fan Shi, a prodigy like him. 30 years ago, Fan Shi defeated a prodigious disciple in the Prodigy Arena who was between 700 and 800 years old. Although his opponent was the weakest prodigious disciple, it doesn't affect his strength. It's hard to say who's stronger between the two of them. I think Duan Lingtian is stronger. Back then, Fan Shi only defeated a prodigious disciple in the Prodigy Arena who was between 700 and 800 years old. However, Duan Lingtian killed Lu Jin. Killing and defeating are two completely different things. Not necessarily. Who knows if Duan Lingtian killed Lu Jin because Lu Jin cared about him. Moreover, Fan Shi was able to defeat a prodigious disciple in the Prodigy Arena who was between 700 and 800 years old 20 years ago. I'm sure he's even stronger now. As the news spread among the Heavenly Pool Palace's disciples in the Sword Trial Hall, news of Duan Lingtian challenging Fan Shi also spread like wildfire. As the news spread, a large group of people had already gathered at the Prodigy's arena. It was not even noon yet. Chapter 3276. Fan Shi was a 5-element celestial lord, just like Huang Lu Nan whom Duan Lingtian had challenged. However, in terms of strength, Huang Lunan was far from being a match for Fan Shi. Even if Huang Lunan had the courage to challenge Fan Shi, he did not have the courage to do so. Duan Lingtian challenged Fan Shi? Fan Shi is much stronger than Senior Lu Jian. Moreover, he's the strongest prodigious disciple in the 200 to 300 years old age group. Who knows, he might have some other trump cards up his sleeve. Duan Lingtian might not be a match for Fan Shi. Whether it was because he wanted to see Duan Lingtian lose to Fan Shi, or because he wanted to see Fan Shi's trump cards, Huang Lunan left his cultivation place and went to the Prodigy Arena. Fortunately, my teacher didn't vent his anger on me when he returned a month ago. Huang Lunan could not help but shudder when he thought about how his teacher had returned a month ago. At that time, he was already prepared to be punished. While Huang Lunan was making his way to the Prodigy Arena, many people were making their way to the Prodigy Arena as well. Many of them were prodigious disciples. A month ago, the battle between Duan Lingtian and Huang Lunan was not enough to attract the attention of the prodigious disciples. After all, Huang Lunan was ranked at the bottom of the 200 to 300 years old age group. Duan Lingtian, on the other hand, was not even a prodigious disciple at that time. Even when Huan challenged the second-last prodigious disciple in the 200 to 300 years old age group, it did not attract much attention. However, when Huan defeated the second prodigious disciple in a single move, many people were shocked. From then on, not only did the people in the Heavenly Pool Palace learn that the verdant prairie celestial emperor, Su Lang, but they also learned that the merciless celestial emperor, Lei Ying, had recruited a new disciple, Duan Lingtian. Moreover, Duan Lingtian and Huan seemed to be a perfect couple. In the Heavenly Pool Palace, many titled celestial emperors, including the palace master of the Heavenly Pool Palace, had recruited prodigious disciples. For example, Su Lang, the verdant prairie celestial emperor, had 7 prodigious disciples under him. The merciless immortal emperor, Lei Ying, also had 5 disciples under her. The martial dragon celestial emperor, Gu Changjiang, originally had 6 prodigious disciples under him. However, one of them was killed by Duan Lingtian, and the other one was stripped of his status as a prodigious disciple by Duan Lingtian. As a result, Gu Changjiang was left with 4 prodigious disciples. Fifth junior brother is really useless. He was actually killed by a brat who is not even 300 years old. Any one of the 4 prodigious disciples under Gu Changjiang was stronger than Lu Jian. In fact, 2 of them were even younger than Lu Jian. One was over 500 years old, while the other was over 600 years old. Now, the one who spoke was a genius disciple under Gu Changjiang, who was in the same age group as Lu Jian. He was dozens of years younger than Lu Jian. However, his strength was ranked 3rd among Gu Changjiang's 6 disciples. Even Lu Jian had to respectfully address him as 3rd senior brother. Lu Jian's 3rd senior brother had the appearance of a thin young man. He was dressed in a brocade robe, and his appearance was ordinary. However, his eyes were exceptionally sharp. He was none other than Gu Changjiang's 3rd disciple, Yu Yu. Yu Yu was ranked 3rd among the prodigious disciples in the age group between 600 and 700 years old. His strength was not something Lu Jian, who was ranked last among the prodigious disciples in the same age group, could compare to. 3rd senior brother, 5th junior brother must have been careless. Otherwise, with his strength, even if he's no match for Duan Lingtian, the verdant prairie celestial emperor's disciple, he wouldn't have been killed. At this moment, apart from Huang Lu Nan, the martial dragon celestial emperor, Gu Changjiang, 2 other disciples were accompanying him to the prodigy arena. They were none other than Yu Yu and Yuan Gang, the martial dragon celestial emperor's 4th disciple. Yuan Gang, who was over 500 years old, was ranked 4th among the prodigious disciples in the age group between 500 and 600 years old. Although he was younger than Lu Jian, he was much stronger than Lu Jian. The disciples under Gu Changjiang, the martial dragon celestial emperor, were also ranked according to their strength. It was similar to the disciples under Lei Ying celestial emperor. Among the 9 titled celestial emperors in the Heavenly Pool Palace, only the verdant prairie celestial emperor, Su Lang's disciples were ranked according to the order of their disciple strength. Under such circumstances, very few people knew who was stronger and who was weaker among Su Lang's disciples. As soon as Duan Lingtian and Huan left their cultivation area and made their way to the prodigy arena, they saw Hong Fei, their 6th senior brother, waiting for them. Hong Fei was not alone. There were 2 other people standing next to Hong Fei. They were 3rd senior sister, Hu Mei, and 4th senior sister, Wan Waner. 3rd senior sister, 4th senior sister. Duan Lingtian greeted the 2 women before he finally looked at Hong Fei and called out, 6th senior brother, little junior brother, you're being unfair. Why did you call me last? Hong Fei shouted. Are you looking down on me, your 6th senior brother? Fatty, you're ranked last among the 3 of us. Who else should I call you last? Why don't you spar with me and your 4th senior sister? If you can defeat either of us, I'll call you senior brother. Hu Mei was as straightforward as ever. As soon as she spoke, Hong Fei immediately lost his temper. Initially, after Duan Lingtian joined the Heavenly Pool Palace, he thought there was finally someone who was weaker than him. However, after Duan Lingtian killed Lu Jian a month ago, he realized that Duan Lingtian was stronger than him. Even his little junior brother was stronger than him. Currently, he was still the weakest disciple under the verdant prairie celestial emperor. If it were not for the fact that Su Lang's disciples were not ranked according to their strength, He would have been Su Lang's little junior brother. Sixth junior brother, you have to work harder. Now that your little junior brother is stronger than you, if you don't work hard, you'll be kicked out of the prodigious disciples soon. When Wan said with a faint smile, fourth senior sister, you're bullying me with third senior sister? Hong Fei said with a bitter expression on his face. Sister Huan congratulations on joining the ranks of the prodigious disciples. When Wan smiled at Huan for a time, Duan Lingtian could not help but feel respect for his second senior brother, whom he had only met once. Fourth senior sister tried to persuade second senior brother several times, but he wouldn't listen and continued to beat Han Yunjin up. Second senior brother said, he's the boss since eldest senior sister is here. It's his duty to stand up for his junior brothers and sisters. In the end, fourth senior sister threatened to kill herself before second senior brother finally gave up. Hong Fei's voice transmission stopped at this point. What? Hu Mei, do you want to spar with me? Han Yunjin looked at Hu Mei and sneered. Do you think you're a match for me? If you really want to spar with me, I don't mind. However, I'm worried you'll be beaten up by second senior brother again. If you hurt me, my second senior brother would have a good reason to hurt you. As long as he doesn't kill you or cripple you, even the heavenly pool palace won't have a reason to punish him, Hu Mei said with a bright smile. In the heavenly pool palace, if a titled celestial emperor's disciple was injured in a duel, the other disciples of that titled celestial emperor would have a reason to avenge him. Back then, Su Lang's fourth disciple, Wan had only been hurt by Han Yunjin. If Su Lang's second disciple, Lu Ji, had attacked Han Yunjin, it would not be considered a violation of the heavenly pool palace's rules. Do you think I'm afraid of Lu Ji? Han Yunjin's expression changed when he heard Hu Mei's words. He stared at Hu Mei coldly. If you're not afraid, you can attack me. Hu Mei's smile widened. Humph. Han Yunjin scoffed as though he did not hear Hu Mei's words. He said indifferently, I'm here for my fifth junior brother. I'm not interested in bullying a weakling like you. I think you're just afraid. Hu Mei sneered. Who's Duan Lingtian? You're really bold to challenge my fourth junior brother. Han Yunjin looked at the group of people in front of him before his eyes finally landed on Duan Lingtian. You're Duan Lingtian? Fan Shi is your fourth junior brother? Duan Lingtian stepped forward and looked at Han Yunjin coldly. Then, he said with a grin, tell him to be careful. I don't hold back when I make a move. Duan Lingtian's tone turned colder as he spoke. Although he hadn't spent much time with Su Lang's other senior martial brothers and sisters, the atmosphere among them made him feel like he was at home. How could he show mercy to those who had bullied his family? When did Fan Shi become your fourth junior brother? Hu Mei frowned. Clearly, she had just learned that Fan Shi had become Han Yunjin's fifth junior brother and the profound Heaven Celestial Emperor's disciple. It's only natural that you don't know about what happened 2 months ago. Han Yunjin smiled faintly. Then, he looked at Duan Lingtian and said with a sneer, Brat, the prodigious disciples can choose between a battle to the death or a battle to the death. My fourth junior brother is going to challenge you to a battle to the death. You won't be afraid to accept the challenge, right? A battle to the death? Duan Lingtian smiled. I'm afraid he won't have the guts to accept the challenge. If he does, I, Duan Lingtian, will accept the challenge. Good, very good. Han Yunjin's smile widened. I hope you don't die in his hands. Otherwise, the beauty by your side will have to be replaced by another man. A hint of greed could be seen in Han Yunjin's eyes as he looked at Huan. Although Huan was wearing a veil, her peerless beauty was not something the veil could hide. Killing intent flashed in Duan Lingtian's eyes. If it were not for the fact that there were so many people present and he did not care about the big picture, he would have already used all his means to kill Han Yunjin with the help of the 5 divine elements. However, even if he did not kill Han Yunjin now, Han Yunjin was already a dead man in his eyes. Chapter 3277. Junior Sister Wan. Just as Hu Mei was mocking Hong Fei, a magnetic voice resonated from afar. After a few moments, a young man in blue robes stepped into the air and arrived at Duan Lingtian and the others. Another young man stood behind the blue-clad young man. The blue-clad young man was handsome and had a haughty expression on his face. It was as though he was looking down on everyone. Initially, Duanling Tian thought his fourth senior sister Wenwan was familiar with the other party. However, when the other party took the initiative to greet her, he noticed his fourth senior sister Wenwan merely nodded her head at the other party. Wenwan, senior brother Qin is talking to you. Didn't you hear him? When the young man behind the blue-clothed young man saw that Wenwan was ignoring the blue-clothed young man, he couldn't help but frown and speak in a deep voice. Before Wenwan could reply, Hu Mei sneered at the young man standing behind the blue-clad young man. Since when did the second disciple of the Misty Wave Celestial Emperor become someone's lackey? You're a disgrace to us prodigious disciples. The sneer on Hu Mei's face deepened as she spoke. Hu Mei, you're seeking death. Upon hearing Hu Mei's words, the young man's expression changed drastically. Killing intent flashed in his eyes. What? Xiao Chengyi, do you still want to make a move on me? Hu Mei sneered. Then I want to see if you, Xiao Chengyi, have made any progress recently. If I'm not mistaken, you lost the last time you challenged me, right? How dare a loser like you act so arrogantly in front of me? Hu Mei's sneer turned into a sneer when she finished speaking. The young man's expression darkened further. Hu Mei, that's enough. At this moment, the blue-clothed young man spoke. His tone carried an unquestionable tone, and it carried a slight trace of threat. Han Yunjin, if I were you, I'd be too ashamed to appear in front of Wan. Although the blue-clad young man did not look like someone to be trifled with, Hu Mei did not hold back and retorted. Little junior brother. While Duanling Tian was still in a daze, his sixth senior brother, Hong Fei's voice transmission resonated in his ears. The one at the back is Xiao Chengyi, the second disciple of the Misty Wave Immortal Emperor. Duanling Tian had heard of the Misty Wave Celestial Emperor. Among the 9 titled Celestial Emperors in the Heavenly Pool Palace, the Misty Wave Celestial Emperor was on par with the Martial Dragon Celestial Emperor. Xiao Chengyi is the same as third senior sister. Both of them are prodigious disciples between 800 and 900 years old. Third senior sister is ranked second in this age group, and this Xiao Chengyi is ranked third. Hearing Hong Fei's words, Duanling Tian was surprised. Third senior sister Hu Mei was ranked second among the 10 heavens chosen disciples in the 800 to 900 years old age range. At this moment, he couldn't help but take another look at Hu Mei. He didn't expect that this seemingly carefree and energetic third senior sister was actually such a powerful genius disciple. This Xiao Chengyi challenged third senior sister several times. Without exception, he was defeated by third senior sister every time. At this point, Hong Fei paused for a moment before continuing. That's right. As for the blue-clad young man in front of Xiao Chengyi, he's one of the top 5 prodigious disciples in the Heavenly Pool Palace. He's as famous as second senior brother. Duanling Tian raised an eyebrow and looked at Han Yunjin in surprise. He did not expect Han Yunjin to be a prodigious disciple on par with his second senior brother. In the Heavenly Pool Palace, only outstanding disciples below the age of 1,000 were considered prodigious disciples. The top 5 prodigious disciples in the Heavenly Pool Palace represented the 5 strongest people below the age of 1,000 in the Heavenly Pool Palace. His name is Han Yunjin. He's the first disciple of the Profound Heaven Celestial Emperor. The Profound Heaven Celestial Emperor is slightly stronger than our teacher, Hong Fei said through voice transmission. Duanling Tian nodded when he heard Hong Fei's words. The Profound Heaven Celestial Emperor was ranked in the top 3 among the 9 titled Celestial Emperors in the Heavenly Pool Palace. He had heard a lot about this in the past. Sixth senior brother. Why do I feel like third senior sister and fourth senior sister dislike Han Yunjin? Duanling Tian asked curiously through voice transmission. Although he was an outsider, he could feel Hu Mei and Wenwan's disgust toward Han Yunjin. It's not just third senior sister and fourth senior sister. Even fifth senior brother, second senior brother, and I dislike him. You don't dislike him because you don't know about the things he's done to you. Hong Fei's tone was slightly louder when he said this. Han Yunjin is a bastard. Although it seemed like he was devoted to fourth senior sister, he was actually flirting with other female disciples behind her back. Moreover, he would often spend the night at the female disciples' cultivation places. Fortunately, second senior brother discovered this before he married fourth senior sister. Otherwise, fourth senior sister's heart would have been deceived when she married him. However, even if she didn't give her body to Han Yunjin, her heart was still deceived by him. You don't know this, but it took fourth senior sister 100 years to get over that relationship. Fourth senior sister only liked one man in her life, and yet, she was deceived by him. You can imagine how she felt. Naturally, fourth senior sister no longer has feelings for him. She only hates him. Upon hearing Hong Fei's words, Duan Lingtian's gaze turned cold as he looked at Han Yunjin. His fourth senior sister, Wen Wan'er, was as gentle as jade. He had a good impression of her the first time they met. How could Han Yunjin hurt such a gentle and graceful woman? It was no wonder Su Lang's disciples did not like him. It would be strange if they liked him. Second senior brother once challenged Han Yunjin to a fight because of fourth senior sister. However, Han Yunjin did not accept the challenge since he knew he was no match for second senior brother. However, even so, second senior brother still went to find him and forced him to take action, seriously injuring him several times. Naturally, each time, second senior brother was punished by the Heavenly Pool Palace. Duan Lingtian's expression changed when he heard Hong Fei's words. Although Hong Fei's words were simple, he could sense the anger in Hong Fei's heart. However, Duan Lingtian could sense the second senior brother's anger. Moreover, even though he knew he would be punished by the Heavenly Pool Palace, he still stood up for his fourth senior sister. From this, one could see how protective his second senior brother was. Chapter 3278. After all, she had long become Duan Lingtian's exclusive property. When Han Yunjin's words reached Duan Lingtian's ears, he was thoroughly enraged. In fact, Duan Lingtian had already sentenced Han Yunjin to death. "I'm afraid your fourth junior brother will die in my hands," Duan Lingtian sneered. "Is that so?" Han Yunjin's smile did not change. "It seems like killing Lu Jian has boosted your confidence. However, my fourth junior brother's strength is not something Lu Jian can compare to. If he dares to challenge me to a life-or-death battle, he'll definitely die," Duan Lingtian said coldly as his eyes flashed coldly. "Elder Qin." As soon as Duan Lingtian finished speaking, a loud voice resounded in the surroundings of the Prodigy Arena. At the same time, a thin figure appeared on the Prodigy Arena and looked at the Sword Trial Pavilion elder who was in charge of today's battle. "Today, I, Fan Shi, accept Duan Lingtian's challenge to a life-or-death battle. No one is allowed to admit defeat. It's a battle to the death." A thin and ordinary-looking young man with a cold aura stood on the Prodigy Arena as he spoke to the Sword Trial Pavilion elder. Based on his words, it was obvious he was Duan Lingtian's opponent. He was the strongest among the 200 to 300 years old prodigious disciples, Fan Shi. He's Fan Shi? He's going to challenge Duan Lingtian to a life-or-death battle? There are two types of life and death battles. One is the type where one can admit defeat, and the other is the type where one can't admit defeat and one must fight to the death to determine the victor. What enmity does this Fan Shi have with Duan Lingtian to the point that he actually wants to fight to the death with Duan Lingtian? Fan Shi's words shocked the Heavenly Pool Palace's disciples. Many of them thought Fan Shi had a deep grudge against Duan Lingtian. Otherwise, why would he challenge Duan Lingtian to a life-or-death battle? In the Heavenly Pool Palace, people like Duan Lingtian did not have the right to challenge others to a life-or-death battle. They only had the right to refuse. As for Fan Shi, the person who was being challenged, he could request for a battle. For example, a battle to the death, or a battle to the death. Even a battle to the death could be initiated. If Duan Lingtian did not have the courage to accept the challenge, he could choose to admit defeat. However, if Duan Lingtian agreed to the life-or-death battle, no one would be able to help Duan Lingtian, and Duan Lingtian's death battle with Fan. For this reason, Duan Lingtian's death battle shocked many people. Duan Lingtian, the Sword Trial Pavilion elder, Duan Duel, Fan, Duan Lingtian. Even the Sword Trial Pavilion's elder was shocked by Fan Shi's words. He instinctively asked for confirmation. Duan Lingtian had to be careful. If he made a mistake, he would not be able to absolve himself from the blame.
Yes.
Fan Shi replied. Then, he continued to say in a clear voice, Now, all of you can bear witness to this. An uproar broke out among the crowd when they heard Fan Shi's words. Earlier, Fan Shi's words could be said to be a casual remark from him. However, now that the Sword Trial Pavilion's elder had questioned Fan Shi about this matter, it was clear that Fan Shi had agreed to it. Duan Lingtian, I hope you're not only good at talking. Han Yunjin glanced at Duan Lingtian indifferently before he left with Xiao Chengyi. Before he left, he looked at Duan Lingtian with contempt, disdain, and mockery. It was as though he was trying to provoke Duan Lingtian. How could Duan Lingtian not see through Han Yunjin's intentions? However, so what? Could it be that he, Duan Lingtian, was afraid of Fan Shi? Little junior brother, don't agree to it. Sixth senior brother, Hong Fei, looked at Duan Lingtian solemnly and said in a deep voice. He knew Han Yunjin was one of the 5 great prodigious disciples in the Heavenly Pool Palace. Since he was so confident in Fan Shi, it meant he was confident Fan Shi would win. Little junior brother, you'll have plenty of chances in the future. Fourth senior sister, Wen Wan looked at Duan Lingtian with a solemn expression on her face. She was the one who understood Han Yunjin the best among everyone present. After all, she had given her heart to Han Yunjin back then. Even her body was only one step away. For this reason, he knew Han Yunjin was a meticulous person who would not do anything he was not confident in. Little junior brother, where there's life, there's hope. Even Hu Mei, Duan Lingtian's third senior sister, who was as angry as a tigress earlier, had a solemn expression on her face when she looked at Duan Lingtian. Although she did not like Han Yunjin, she knew Han Yunjin was not as simple as he seemed. Moreover, Fan Shi had challenged Duan Lingtian to a battle to the death. It was obvious Fan Shi intended to kill Duan Lingtian openly. Ever since the incident with her fourth junior sister, the disciples of the Verdant Prairie Celestial Emperor and the Profound Heaven Celestial Emperor had become enemies. As for the reason Duan Lingtian wanted to kill their little junior brother, it was obvious he did not want to see another outstanding prodigious disciple in their faction. Based on Duan Lingtian's current talent, he would not be inferior to their second senior brother in the future. In fact, he might even surpass their faction in the great world. After all, Han Yunjin could not allow Duan Lingtian to grow and become a threat to him in the future. Duan Lingtian, what do you think? At the same time, the Sword Trial Pavilion elder's gaze landed on Duan Lingtian. There was a questioning look in his eyes. Naturally, you can choose to refuse. However, if you refuse, it'll be equivalent to admitting defeat. If you agree, you'll have to fight Fan Shi to the death to end the battle. After the elder finished speaking, he sent a voice transmission to Duan Lingtian. Duan Lingtian, since Fan Shi dares to challenge you to a battle to the death, it means he's confident in winning. I'm sure he has a trump card up his sleeves. I advise you to refuse. The elder from the Sword Trial Pavilion advised. Thank you, elder. Duan Lingtian sent a voice transmission to the Sword Trial Pavilion's elder as he disappeared from his spot. When he reappeared, he was already in the death arena where Fan Shi had died. Duan Lingtian and Fan Shi stood facing each other. Although Duan Lingtian did not respond to the elder from the beginning until the end, his actions were a response to the elder's words. He, Duan Lingtian, had accepted the challenge. I thought you're too afraid to accept the challenge. Fan Shi had a thin figure and a cold expression on his face. When he saw Duan Lingtian had teleported in front of him, a rare smile appeared on his face. I'm not Han Yunjin. Why would I not accept the challenge? Duan Lingtian replied with a faint smile on his face. Earlier, Duan Lingtian had heard from Hong Fei that his second senior brother, Lu Ji, had challenged Han Yunjin to a battle to the death. Moreover, they had challenged each other several times. However, each time, Han Yunjin had rejected the challenge. However, I didn't expect there would be someone like you who would dare to challenge me to a battle to the death. I thought all of you were a bunch of cowards like your eldest senior brother, Han Yunjin. Duan Lingtian's smile widened when he reached the end of his sentence. A hint of mockery could be seen on his face. This brat has a death wish. Han Yunjin's expression changed drastically when he heard Duan Lingtian's words. He had a cruel smile on his face when he saw Duan Lingtian entering the prodigy arena. When he sensed the mocking gazes on him, he wanted to dig a hole and hide in it. When he looked at Duan Lingtian again, his eyes were filled with killing intent. Then, he sent a voice transmission to Fan Shi. "Fourth junior brother, kill him as fast as you can. I don't want to see him alive for even a second longer." Han Yunjin's voice was filled with killing intent. "Don't worry, eldest senior brother. He's definitely going to die," Fan Shi replied confidently through voice transmission. It was as though he could already see himself winning. Duan Lingtian stared indifferently at Fan Shi with a carefree and fearless expression. Even if Fan Shi was the manifestation of the celestial tree and possessed extraordinary innate talent and comprehension ability, so what? After all, Duan Lingtian was not even 300 years old yet. If he was afraid of Duan Lingtian, how was he supposed to continue living in the future? How was he supposed to break into the divine offering land and rescue his wife, Li Fei, and his family and friends? "Duan Lingtian, I'll give you 10 breaths to make your final arrangements. After 10 breaths, I'll make my move," Fan Shi said indifferently. "If I make my move, I'll take your life within 20 breaths." Meanwhile, a commotion broke out among the Heavenly Pool Palace's disciples when they saw Duan Lingtian entering the prodigy arena. Duan Lingtian accepted the challenge? It seems like he's very confident in himself. Confident? So what? Is Fan Shi not confident in himself as well? If Fan Shi isn't confident, why would he challenge Duan Lingtian? A battle to the death between two prodigious disciples. It's been a long time since something like this has happened in the Heavenly Pool Palace, right? In the past, Lu Ji, the second disciple of the Verdant Prairie Celestial Emperor, Su Lang, challenged Han Yunjin, the first disciple of the Profound Heaven Celestial Emperor, to a battle to the death. However, Han Yunjin rejected the challenge. While the onlookers were in an uproar, Su Lang's 3 disciples could only smile wryly on their faces. "Why didn't little junior brother listen to us?" Hong Fei asked angrily. At this moment, when Huan instinctively glanced at Huan Er's expression was calm. It was as though she did not care about Duan Lingtian's challenge at all. "Sister Huan, aren't you worried?" When Huan asked curiously. At this moment, Humei looked at Huan with a strange expression on her face. After all, her junior brother's confidant should be worried when she saw her junior brother in a life-or-death situation. However, Huan did not seem worried at all. "Why should I be worried?" When Huan, Humei, and Hong Fei were dumbfounded by Huan response. End of Chapter 1. Chapter 3279. 10 breaths passed in just a blink of an eye. Under the gazes of everyone present, Fan Shi's figure flashed, and his entire body seemed to have transformed into a gust of wind that vanished into the sky. He moved with the wind as he flashed towards Duan Lingtian like a shadow. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. The sound of wind whistling rang in the air. Most of the Heavenly Pool Palace's disciples could not even catch Fan Shi's movements since his speed was too fast. However, at this moment, many people with higher cultivation bases discovered something. Fan Shi has broken through and become a 6-combo Celestial Lord? A 6-combo Celestial Lord who has comprehended 7 profundities from the Law of Wind to the Mastery stage. Is Fan Shi really less than 300 years old? His innate talent and comprehension ability are heaven-defying. Even if plants take human form, it's rare for them to have such strength, right? More and more disciples from the Heavenly Pool Palace looked at Fan Shi with a pitiful expression on their faces when they discovered his cultivation base. Based on Fan Shi's current strength, he could easily defeat Lu Jian, who had been killed by Duan Lingtian a month ago. It was highly likely that Lu Jian had been careless when Duan Lingtian killed Lu Jian. With Fan Shi's current strength, even if Lu Jian was careless, Fan Shi would still be able to kill Lu Jian before Lu Jian admitted defeat. Now that Fan Shi's cultivation base had reached the level of a 6-combo Celestial Lord, his strength had increased by a level as well. Fan Shi has broken through? Hong Fei's expression changed drastically. He did not expect Fan Shi, who was ranked first among the prodigious disciples between the age of 200 to 300 years old, had become a 6 combos celestial lord instead of a 5 elements celestial lord. Whether it was Hu Mei or Wan Er's expression, both of them became solemn at this moment. Their hearts were also suspended in their throats. Huan Er, on the other hand, remained calm and composed. Duan Lingtian? You'll die today. Han Yunjin sneered. At the same time, Huang Lunan, the disciple of the martial dragon celestial emperor, Gu Changjiang, and Lei Jun, the disciple of the merciless celestial emperor, Lei Ying, were also sneering. They wished for nothing more than for Fan Shi to kill Duan Lingtian immediately. That's all you got? Under the watchful eyes of the crowd, Duan Lingtian teleported and disappeared. When he reappeared, he was already high up in the sky. At the same time, as Duan Lingtian's eyes turned cold, waves of rolling spatial power raged on his body. For the first time, Duan Lingtian displayed all 7 of his space law profundities at the major completion stage, except for the instant movement profundity. Wong, 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 Wong. 9-dimensional decapitators shot out of the spatial rifts like ghosts. Combined with the various profound truths of the law of space at major completion, they swept across the area. Imprisonment. The entire space around Fan Shi had been sealed by Duan Lingtian. Humph. Fan Shi snorted coldly. His celestial origin energy that had been boosted by the wind elemental profundity surged out of his body. Wong, 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 Wong. The wind was as sharp as a blade as it tore through the void, trying to cut through Duan Lingtian's space shackles. However, before the wind could even get close to the space shackles, Duan Lingtian had already comprehended the other profundities from the law of space and blocked Fan Shi's attack. Not only that, but Duan Lingtian's profundities from the law of space that he had comprehended to the mastery stage easily overpowered Fan Shi's attack. Boom, 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 boom. The waves of raging and sharp wind were quickly crushed by the waves of restless spatial energy, suppressing it in all directions. The 9-dimensional decapitators seemed to be invincible. No matter how strong Fan Shi's attack was, it could easily destroy it. How powerful! Duan Lingtian has completely suppressed Fan Shi. Am I seeing things? Apart from the teleportation profundity to the mastery stage, Duan Lingtian's other profundities from the law of space have all been comprehended to the mastery stage. Duan Lingtian's comprehension of the law of space isn't inferior to Fan Shi's comprehension of the law of wind. Moreover, the profundities that Duan Lingtian has comprehended to the mastery stage are all offensive profundities. On the other hand, Fan Shi has yet to comprehend an offensive profundity from the law of wind to the mastery stage. It's useless even if Fan Shi has comprehended that profundity. The law of space is one of the 4 supreme laws. The teleportation profundity doesn't have much of an effect on offensive profundity. It's easy for Duan Lingtian to suppress Fan Shi. That's right. The law of space is one of the 4 supreme laws that's famous for being difficult to comprehend. Duan Lingtian has comprehended 7 profundities from the law of space to the mastery stage. Moreover, he hasn't comprehended the teleportation profundity to the mastery stage. Who knows, he might have comprehended it to the mastery stage as well. The strength that Duan Lingtian had displayed had exceeded everyone's expectations. No one had expected Duan Lingtian to possess such strength. It seems like Lu Jian's death a month ago wasn't a fluke. With Duan Lingtian's current strength, if Lu Jian hadn't been prepared and admitted defeat in time, it would have been difficult for him to escape alive. The power of the law of space is too domineering. Moreover, Duan Lingtian has comprehended all the offensive profundities from the law of space to the mastery stage. His strength has already completely crushed Fan Shi. Looks like Fan Shi is going to fail miserably at an easy task today. That's not necessarily the case. Fan Shi hasn't used his celestial tree's true form yet. Beings like him usually have other trump cards up their sleeves. Otherwise, why would he recklessly engage in a deathmatch with Duan Lingtian? Although Duan Lingtian's strength is shocking, I'm sure Fan Shi has long been prepared for this. While the Heavenly Pool Palace's disciples discussed among themselves, Hu Mei, Wan Er, and Hong Fei were shocked by Duan Lingtian's strength. Little junior brother is so strong? No wonder Lu Jian died in his hands. Hong Fei and the other two were shocked. However, although Duanling Tian was crushing Fan Shi with all his might, they still could not relax. After all, Fan Shi was not human. He was a celestial tree in human form. Therefore, they were certain Duanling Tian's true form had other powerful techniques. What a surprise! Han Yunjin's eyes flashed coldly as he looked at Duanling Tian. If this Duanling Tian grows stronger, he'll become another Lu Ji. We can't let him grow stronger. Although he's strong now, it won't be difficult for fourth junior brother to kill him if he reverts to his true form. Han Yunjin was very confident in Fan Shi. At the same time, Huang Lu Nan and Lei Jun's expressions were unsightly. They did not expect Duanling Tian to be so strong. However, despite Duanling Tian's strength, they still placed their hopes on Fan Shi. They were confident Fan Shi would be able to defeat Duanling Tian if he relied on his true form. I didn't expect this. The Sword Trial Pavilion's elder who was in charge of presiding over the deathmatch could not help but sigh. He was also shocked by Duanling Tian's strength. At the same time, he realized Lu Jian's death a month ago was not an accident. Duanling Tian. Fan Shi cried out in a deep voice. Faced with Duanling Tian's endless attacks, he had been suppressed by Duanling Tian all this while. Your strength is truly shocking. However, it's time for all of this to end. As soon as Fan Shi finished speaking, the eyes of the spectators, from the prodigious disciples and the Sword Trial Pavilion's elders to the ordinary disciples of the Heavenly Pool Palace, lit up immediately. They knew Fan Shi was going to use his true strength. In the past, we only knew Fan Shi was a transformed celestial tree. However, we don't know what kind of celestial tree he is. If it's an ordinary celestial tree, I'm afraid Fan Shi won't be a match for Duanling Tian. Based on Fan Shi's confidence, do you think his true form is an ordinary celestial tree? While the Heavenly Pool Palace's disciples were still speculating, Fan Shi, who was at the center of Duanling Tian's attacks, began to emit green energy from his body. Then, under the watchful eyes of the crowd, Fan Shi disappeared and was replaced by a constantly growing tree. In the beginning, the tree was only as tall as Fan Shi. However, in just a blink of an eye, it grew taller and taller until it reached the heavens. Not only that, but it had also shackled Duanling Tian's spatial shackles as it transformed into a towering tree. Swoosh, 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 swoosh. At first glance, this tree looked like a thick and solid pine tree. However, its branches and leaves were exactly the same as those of a willow tree. Is this the pine willow divine tree? Heavens! The pine willow divine tree is comparable to a top-tier celestial beast. Although it's not comparable to a divine beast, it's not far from it. It's said that each branch of the pine willow divine tree contains immense strength. When multiple branches are thrown out at the same time, their strength will resonate. It's not as simple as 1 + 1. It's obvious that Fan Shi managed to break Duanling Tian's space shackles as soon as he transformed into his true form. This is something he hasn't done before. I didn't expect Fan Shi's true form to be a top-tier celestial tree like the pine willow divine tree. Duanling Tian is in danger. With this true form, Fan Shi's strength is not inferior to his two primary offensive profundities from the Law of Wind to the Mastery stage. Even if Duanling Tian has comprehended the law of space, he won't be able to withstand such strength. Duanling Tian is only a human. How can he fight the pine willow divine tree? When Fan Shi transformed into his true form, an uproar broke out among the Heavenly Pool Palace's disciples. After all, most of them recognized Fan Shi's true form. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. Under the watchful eyes of the others, the willow branches on the pine willow divine tree lashed out like whips and formed a cage around Duanling Tian, trapping him within. The pine willow divine tree stood there with its countless branches that looked like tentacles. It seemed to be able to turn the tables and control the situation. Chapter 3280. Duanling Tian, I have to admit that you're very strong. To be able to comprehend the profundities from the law of space at such a young age, I have to admit that you're a peerless genius among humans. A distorted face suddenly appeared on the side of the pine willow divine tree. Upon closer inspection, one could see that it was Fan Shi's face. At this moment, Fan Shi was speaking in his true form as he said to Duan Lingtian, "However, you're destined to die in my hands today. My true form is the pine willow divine tree. With my true form strength and the profundities from the law of wind that I've comprehended, there are only a handful of prodigies in the heavenly pool palace who are below the celestial emperor realm. As for those prodigious disciples below the celestial emperor realm, none of them will be able to stop me." Fan Shi spoke in his true form. His voice was loud like a bell, and his tone was filled with confidence. It was as though he had already defeated Duan Lingtian. "I didn't expect Fan Shi's true form to be the pine willow divine tree." Huang Lunan's eyes glowed brightly. He could already see Duan Lingtian being killed by Fan Shi. Lei Jun's eyes lit up when he saw Fan Shi's true form. Earlier, when Fan Shi was at a disadvantage against Duan Lingtian, Lei Jun's heart skipped a beat. However, now that Fan Shi had transformed into the pine willow divine tree, he was certain Fan Shi would win. After all, it was impossible for Duan Lingtian to be a match for Fan Shi, who had transformed into the pine willow divine tree. Duan Lingtian will definitely die. Lei Jun thought to himself as he looked at the white figure in the distance. A hint of greed could be seen in his eyes. The pine willow divine tree? Not far from her, Hong Fei, Hu Mei, and Wen Wan's expressions changed drastically. Although they knew Fan Shi was a transformed celestial tree, they did not know what kind of celestial tree he was. However, when they saw Fan Shi's true form, the pine willow divine tree, they realized Fan Shi was a tree spirit that was comparable to a top-tier celestial beast. After such an existence transformed into its true form, its strength was not inferior to a peak immortal beast that had transformed into its human form. Fan Shi is actually a transformed pine willow divine tree. No wonder he's so confident. Hong Fei's chubby face trembled as he said bitterly, "Send a message to teacher to see if he can end this battle." Although Hu Mei and Wen Wan's true form, Hu Mei and Wen Wan, they still could not help but send a message to Su Lang to inform him of the battle. They too informed Su Lang's to inform him of the current situation. Of the two celestial sect, Duan Lingtian to Duan Lingtian divine tree. Apart from the teleportation profundity to the mastery stage, Duan Lingtian has comprehended all the profundities from the law of space to the mastery stage. Duan to Duan Tian to Oven was Duan. Bang! Without the slightest hesitation, Su Lang left the place where he had been cultivating. It didn't take long for him to appear in the vicinity of the Heaven's Proud Sun Arena, beside Hu Mei and the others. "Teacher, you came at the right time. Hurry and stop this battle. If this battle continues, junior brother will most likely die," Hong Fei said as soon as Su Lang appeared. "With little junior brother's innate talent and comprehension ability, I'm sure he'll become a titled celestial emperor in the heavenly pool palace in the future. It's not worth it for him to die here," Hong Fei said. A battle to the death? However, when he found out that Duan Lingtian and Fan Shi had agreed to a battle of life and death, Su Lang could not help but frown slightly. Even if he was a titled celestial emperor of the heavenly pool palace, he was not allowed to interfere in the battle. "Su Lang is here?" As soon as Su Lang appeared, Han Yunjin noticed him and immediately sent a message to him. Naturally, he did not send the message to his teacher, the profound heaven celestial emperor. His teacher was not in the heavenly pool palace recently. Instead, he sent the message to Gu Changjiang, the martial dragon celestial emperor. Gu Changjiang was his teacher's junior brother, and he addressed Gu Changjiang as junior uncle. "Tell your teacher to come as well. Tell him I asked him to come," Su Lang said to Xiao Chengyi after informing Gu Changjiang. Xiao Chengyi did not hesitate to send a message to his teacher. Soon after, Gu Changjiang and the Misty Wave Celestial Emperor arrived as well. The Misty Wave Celestial Emperor was a young man dressed in a black robe. He had an ordinary appearance and was one of those who would not stand out in a crowd. "Su Lang, since it's a battle of life and death, it's only natural that no one is allowed to interfere. Don't tell me you're here to stop the battle?" Gu Changjiang's eyes immediately fell on Su Lang as he said in a clear voice. His loud voice attracted the attention of many people. The verdant prairie celestial emperor, Su Lang, is here to stop the life or death battle? I think he's here to save Duan Lingtian. I agree. Many disciples of the Heavenly Pool Palace shifted their attention to Fan Shi, who was fighting Duan Lingtian after glancing at Su Lang. In their opinion, since the Martial Dragon Celestial Emperor and the Smoke Wave Celestial Emperor were here, it was impossible for the Verdant Prairie Celestial Emperor to stop the battle. Su Lang, this disciple of yours is not bad. Unfortunately, he's going to die here today. Gu Changjiang said meaningfully as he glanced at Duan Lingtian, who was fighting with Fan Shi's true body. Then, he looked at Su Lang meaningfully. Su Lang, you're really lucky to be able to recruit such a disciple. Unfortunately, he won't live long. The Smoke Wave Celestial Emperor smiled faintly as he looked at Su Lang. He was not close to Su Lang, the Verdant Prairie Celestial Emperor. On the contrary, he was close to the Profound Heaven Celestial Emperor. Therefore, he had come today because of Profound Heaven's former emperor. Otherwise, he wouldn't have specially rushed over. Humph. Su Lang's expression turned unsightly when he saw the two titled celestial emperors trying to stop him. With Gu Changjiang and Hong Fei here, it was impossible for him to stop the battle even if he wanted to. Why did these two fellows come here at this time? Hong Fei asked with an unsightly expression on his face. It's obvious that this is Han Yunjin's doing. He can't wait to see little junior brother killed by Fan Shi. Hu Mei said in a deep voice, Brother Lingtian. Huan looked at Lingtian. She looked at Duan Lingtian, who was dodging Fan Shi's attacks. Duan Lingtian cut a sorry figure. She discovered that up until now, Lingtian had not used the power of the 5 divine elements. Nevertheless, she could understand why Duan Lingtian was acting this way. After all, Huan knew Lingtian could not reveal the existence of the 5 divine elements. Otherwise, he would be killed. Duan Lingtian, do you only know how to run? After a few dozen breaths, Fan Shi managed to trap Duan Lingtian in a confined space. However, none of his attacks landed on Duan Lingtian. Duan Lingtian's figure flickered as he continued to dodge Fan Shi's attacks using the teleportation profundity. Gradually, Fan Shi lost his patience and cried out, All right. Upon hearing Fan Shi's words, Duan Lingtian came to a halt and said indifferently, Since you're so eager to die, I'll fulfill your wish. Fulfill my wish? I'd like to see how you're going to fulfill my wish. Fan Shi sneered. As soon as Fan Shi finished speaking, Duan Lingtian's figure flashed as he teleported again and disappeared from his spot. When he reappeared, he was standing next to a thick tree branch next to Fan Shi. He placed his hand on the branch. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. Almost at the same time when Duan Lingtian approached Fan Shi's main body, Fan Shi's attack, the willow branches, tore through the air like whips and swept toward Duan Lingtian in a menacing manner. However, Duan Lingtian did not have the slightest intention of dodging Fan Shi's fierce attack. A power that was filled with life swept out from the miniature world within his body. When the power came into contact with Fan Shi's body, it devoured the power within Fan Shi's body to its heart's content like a greedy beast that devoured everything in his body. The Pine Willow Divine Tree? It's comparable to a top-tier celestial beast? A sneer appeared on Duan Lingtian's face as he thought to himself, Fan Shi probably didn't expect there's a divine tree of life in my little world, right? The divine tree of life is the king of all trees in this world. A mere pine willow divine tree doesn't deserve to be called a divine tree. At this moment, the energy from the divine tree of life in Duan Lingtian's little world transformed into a terrifying devouring force that sucked all the nutrients out of Fan Shi's body. Boom, 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 boom. After the nutrients in the pine willow divine tree were sucked dry, its strength was greatly reduced. Fan Shi's attack on Duan Lingtian fell from the sky and landed on the Prodigy Arena, causing cracks to appear on the Prodigy Arena. The cracks intertwined with each other. At first glance, it looked like a spider web. It was dazzling and eye-catching. You. Fan Shi had unknowingly returned to his human form. However, his face was as pale as a sheet of paper, and his body was on the verge of collapsing. At this moment, his eyes were filled with fear as he looked at Duan Lingtian. Earlier, The energy from Duan Lingtian's body seemed to be his nemesis. It had sucked all the nutrients out of his body in just a blink of an eye. The nutrients in his body were like his blood essence that had been sucked dry. Half of his life had been taken away as well. At this moment, he did not even have the strength to use his celestial origin energy. What's that thing? Fan Shi asked unwillingly as he stared at Duan Lingtian. Swoosh! Duan Lingtian teleported behind Fan Shi. At the same time, he sent a voice transmission to Fan Shi, the divine tree of life. Almost at the instant Duan Lingtian's words left his mouth, Fan Shi's pupils constricted rapidly, and his face was filled with shock and horror. No wonder. Chapter 3281. Almost at the same time when Fan Shinan's face was filled with shock and horror as he muttered in a low voice, Duan Lingtian, who appeared behind him, made his move. Bang! Without any fancy technique, Duan Lingtian's palm landed on Fan Shi's body. It seemed simple, but Fan Shi was unable to dodge it. It was not that Fan Shi did not want to dodge, but it was impossible for him to do so in his current state. As soon as Duan Lingtian's palm landed on Fan Shi's body, the tyrannical spatial energy tore Fan Shi apart. In just a blink of an eye, Fan Shi was reduced to a bloody mist that fell to the ground. Eldest senior brother, Duan Lingtian, is alive. Before Fan Shi died, he hurriedly sent a voice transmission to his eldest senior brother, Han Yunjin, the profound heaven celestial emperor's eldest disciple. However, before he could finish speaking, he was killed by Duan Lingtian's palm strike. Everything happened in the blink of an eye on the Prodigy Arena. It happened so fast that the onlookers could not react in time. By the time they regained their senses, only a purple figure was left standing on the Prodigy's arena. He was as majestic as a celestial being. Fan Shi is dead? Heavens! Fan Shi is a 6-combo celestial lord who has comprehended 7 profundities from the law of wind to the mastery stage. Moreover, his true form is a pine willow divine tree. How could he be killed by Duan Lingtian? Based on Fan Shi's strength, apart from the top 5 prodigious disciples, I'm afraid there aren't many people in the heavenly pool palace who's a match for him. Is Duan Lingtian really that strong? The scene earlier was slightly strange. I wonder what technique Duan Lingtian used on Fan Shi that actually caused him to revert back to his human form in just a blink of an eye. Duan Lingtian must have used some mysterious technique. Otherwise, it's impossible for him to kill Fan Shi in such a strange manner. The disciples of the heavenly pool palace were in an uproar. None of them had expected the battle between Duan Lingtian and Fan Shi to end in such a manner. In the beginning, the two of them had prepared for a death duel. When Fan Shi revealed his cultivation base as a 6-combo celestial lord, everyone thought that Duan Lingtian would not be a match for him. Then, Duan Lingtian displayed his powerful law of space and suppressed Fan Shi, making everyone feel that Duan Lingtian had a high chance of winning. Of course, at that time, there were also some people who felt that Fan Shi was holding back. After that, Fan Shi transformed into his true form, and the pine willow divine tree appeared before everyone's eyes. This allowed everyone to understand the source of Fan Shi's confidence. Just when everyone thought that Fan Shi, who had transformed into the true form of the pine willow divine tree, could easily kill Duan Lingtian, an inconceivable scene appeared. Duan Lingtian had only casually touched the pine willow divine tree's body. Then, as if it had met its nemesis, the pine willow divine tree instantly transformed into Fan Shi's human form. Then, Duan Lingtian teleported to Fan Shi's side and killed Fan Shi with a palm strike. Little junior brother killed Fan Shi? After Hong Fei came back to his senses, his eyes, which had been squeezed very small by his fat face, suddenly narrowed, and a bright smile appeared on his face. After all, he had broken out in cold sweat for his little junior brother earlier. If his little junior brother had died, he would definitely blame himself. Previously, Hong Fei's little junior brother had a conflict with Lu Jian mainly because of him. Otherwise, Hong Fei would not have been able to kill Lu Jian and obtain the opportunity to challenge Fan Shi today. Little junior brother is so powerful? Mei was shocked. Although she had thought Hong Fei's little junior brother was quite strong, She was even more shocked when she saw Hong Fei killing Fan Shi, who had transformed into his true form. After all, even she was not confident that she would be able to defeat Fan Shi in his true form. It was more likely that they would end up in a draw. Little junior brother, even when Wan Er, who had always been gentle and quiet, revealed a trace of surprise on her beautiful face at this moment. Only Su Lang looked at Duan Ling Tian as if he was lost in thought. Just now, the method that Duan Ling Tian used to force Fan Shi to return to his human form was something that even he couldn't see through. However, he discovered that, as Duan Ling Tian placed his hand on the trunk of the pine willow divine tree, Fan Shi's aura seemed to wither in an instant. Then, he returned to his human form. Furthermore, Fan Shi, who had returned to his human form, was in a very weak state. At that time, even the weakest sixth junior brother, Hong Fei, would be able to easily kill him, let alone this extremely powerful seventh disciple. On the other side, how is this possible? Han Yunjin was still in a daze when he heard Fan Shi's last message. Now that he saw Fan Shi being killed by Duan Ling Tian, his expression changed and his eyes turned cold. How could Duan Ling Tian be so strong? Killing intent flashed in Han Yunjin's eyes as he looked at Duan Ling Tian. Apart from Fan Shi, even Xiao Chong Yi, the Martial Dragon Celestial Emperor, and the Misty Wave Celestial Emperor were dumbfounded. They did not expect this outcome. In fact, they found it hard to believe. This was especially true for the Martial Dragon Celestial Emperor and the Misty Wave Celestial Emperor, who were both titled Celestial Emperors. They had come to stop Su Lang, the Verdant Prairie Celestial Emperor, from interfering in the Duel of Death. The reason they came was because Duan Ling Tian would definitely die. That was why they were worried Su Lang would intervene, since Duan Ling Tian was Su Lang's disciple. However, the scene that had just transpired made them feel that their arrival was nothing more than a joke. Duan Ling Tian would survive without Su Lang's interference. Damn it! How could Duan Ling Tian be so strong? Huang Lunan's expression was unsightly. He finally realized that Duan Ling Tian was not just slightly stronger than him. Instead, Duan Ling Tian was stronger than him in every aspect. Huang Lunan's expression was unsightly, and cold sweat was dripping down his forehead. After all, based on the current situation, Duan Ling Tian had shown mercy when he attacked Huang Lunan. Humph! Lei Jun scoffed before he turned around and left. He had wanted to see Duan Ling Tian being defeated by Fan Shi. After Fan Shi's life or death battle, he was even more certain that Duan Ling Tian would die. However, he did not expect Duan Ling Tian to not only survive, but he even managed to kill Fan Shi. Most importantly, Duan Ling Tian was shocked. Even Lei Jun would not be able to defeat Fan Shi in such a short time if he fought Duan Ling Tian head-on. But that Duan Ling Tian obviously used some special technique in the end, and it seemed like he was able to restrain Fan Shi. His technique might have worked on Fan Shi, but it might not work on me. If I were to fight him, I'd definitely kill him within 3 breaths. Although Duan Ling Tian had displayed extraordinary strength, Lei Jun did not think much of Duan Ling Tian. In his opinion, Duan Ling Tian was merely a mere celestial lord. Before fourth junior brother died, he said Duan Ling Tian had some life or something. I wonder what that means. Han Yunjin thought to himself as he looked at Duan Ling Tian from afar. He recalled the voice transmission that his fourth junior brother, Fan Shi, had sent him before he died. Han Yunjin. At this moment, Duan Ling Tian walked towards Su Lang and the others. He looked at Han Yunjin and said indifferently, "Your fourth junior brother isn't that strong. Didn't you say I'd definitely die if I were to fight him? Looks like your eyes are really not just blind." Duan Ling Tian sneered as killing intent flashed in his eyes. If there were no one around, he would have used all his strength and techniques to kill Han Yunjin. Upon hearing Duan Ling Tian's words, the Heavenly Pool Palace's disciples instinctively turned to look at Han Yunjin. Senior brother Han Yunjin said those words to Duan Ling Tian? It's normal. Senior brother Han Yunjin probably didn't expect Duan Ling Tian to be able to kill Fan Shi. Even so, Han Yunjin has been slapped in the face this time. Han Yunjin's expression turned unsightly when he heard the discussions among the Heavenly Pool Palace's disciples. He looked at Duan Ling Tian coldly and said disdainfully, "Duan Ling Tian, Although I don't know how you killed my fourth junior brother, you're not qualified to act arrogantly in front of me. Is that so? Duan Lingtian looked at Han Yunjin meaningfully before he smirked. In that case, why don't we have a life-or-death battle? Humph. Han Yunjin scoffed. Sure, we can have a life-or-death battle, but I can't wait for too long. Even he was wary of Duan Lingtian's innate talent. If he gave Duan Lingtian a few hundred years, he would not be able to defeat Duan Lingtian. However, at this moment, Duan Lingtian was like an ant to him. Let's have a life-or-death battle in the Heavenly Pool Despair 1 year from now. Do you dare to accept? A sneer appeared on the corners of Duan Lingtian's mouth as he asked. The Heavenly Pool Despairs were one of the training grounds in the Heavenly Pool Palace. Only 2 people could enter each Heavenly Pool Despairs, and they would compete against each other. Naturally, they could also fight in the Heavenly Pool Despair. Those outside the Heavenly Pool Despair would not be able to see what was happening in the Heavenly Pool Despair. They would only be able to see the results through the screen formed by the formation. Apart from that, one could not rely on external forces in the Heavenly Pool Despair. Even celestial weapons could not be used, let alone celestial talismans and celestial pills. One could not even bring a defensive celestial weapon into the Heavenly Pool Despair. The Heavenly Pool Despair? Han Yunjin's eyes widened when he heard Duan Lingtian's words. He did not expect Duan Lingtian would choose such a place to have a life-or-death battle with him. Although he wanted to kill Duan Lingtian, he was not a reckless person. Earlier, it was obvious Duan Lingtian had used some mysterious technique to kill his fourth junior brother Fanchi. Even he could not see through the technique. Moreover, he had asked the Martial Dragon Celestial Emperor and the Smoke Wave Celestial Emperor about it through voice transmission. In his opinion, this was not the case. There was definitely something fishy about Duan Lingtian inviting him to such a secluded place for a battle. Chapter 3282. As one of the top 5 prodigious disciples in the Heavenly Pool Palace, Han Yunjin was far more meticulous than ordinary prodigious disciples. When Duan Lingtian mentioned fighting to the death in the Heavenly Pool's extreme territory, Han Yunjin thought there was something fishy going on. Naturally, there was also the possibility that Duan Lingtian was deliberately mystifying him, so he would not dare to accept the challenge. However, to be safe, he did not agree to fight to the death with Duan Lingtian in the Heavenly Pool's extreme territory. Duan Lingtian, if you want to fight to the death, why do you have to do it in the Heavenly Pool's extreme territory? Everyone's attention was focused on Han Yunjin when he heard Duan Lingtian's challenge. At this moment, Han Yunjin glanced at Duan Lingtian indifferently and said emotionlessly, Duan Lingtian, let's fight to the death in the Heavenly Pool's extreme territory. It's fine if we fight in the Prodigy Arena. Moreover, the junior brothers and sisters in the Heavenly Pool Palace will be able to watch us fight in the Prodigy Arena. This is beneficial to the Heavenly Pool Palace. Han Yunjin's words were flawless. Not only did he not refuse Duan Lingtian's request to fight to the death in the Heavenly Pool's extreme territory, but he even said he wanted to fight to the death in the Heavenly Pool's extreme territory for the sake of the Heavenly Pool Palace's disciples. Upon hearing Han Yunjin's words, Duan Lingtian's eyes widened slightly. It seems like Han Yunjin has realized something. After all, he's one of the top 5 prodigious disciples in the Heavenly Pool Palace. It would be strange if he's so easily fooled. Duan Lingtian thought to himself. In that case, you don't have to wait for a year. I'll give you 3 years. After 3 years, we'll fight to the death in the Prodigy Arena. What do you think? Han Yunjin said with a mocking smile on his face. Of course, if you don't have the guts, you're free to refuse. 3 years. Duan Lingtian's heart sank when he heard Han Yunjin's words. He was confident that he would be able to kill Han Yunjin with the help of the 5 divine elements. However, killing Han Yunjin would reveal the existence of the 5 divine elements in his body. If they were in the Heavenly Lake Despairs, they wouldn't have to worry about being discovered. However, if he revealed his 5 divine elements on the Prodigy Arena, there was no doubt the other titled Celestial Emperors would notice his 5 divine elements. Even Su Lang, the Verdant Prairie Celestial Emperor, might not be able to resist the temptation of the 5 divine elements. Killing him openly in 3 years, with my strength, I can't do it. At this moment, Duan Ling Tian's mood became slightly heavy. Just as Duan Ling Tian was thinking of an excuse to refuse, the voice of one of the 5 divine elements, the world-cleansing divine water, rang out in his body. Little Tian, say yes. Duan Ling Tian was stunned by the sudden voice of the world-cleansing divine water. However, he knew that the world-cleansing divine water would not harm him. All right. Upon hearing the world-cleansing divine water's words, Duan Ling Tian felt reassured. He looked at Han Yunjin and said indifferently, 3 years later, we'll have a life-or-death duel in the Prodigy Arena. I only hope you won't be afraid to show up at that time. Han Yunjin's eyes widened in shock. He had thought Duan Ling Tian would not dare to accept the duel. He did not expect Duan Ling Tian would agree to the duel after a brief moment of hesitation. Instantly, his expression turned grave. What? You're the one who initiated the life-or-death duel, and now you're afraid to accept the duel? Duan Ling Tian laughed mockingly. The other disciples from the Heavenly Pool Palace looked at Han Yunjin with a mocking expression on their faces. How can Han Yunjin be so easily fooled by Duan Ling Tian? He's the one who initiated the life-or-death duel. It'll be a joke if he doesn't dare to accept it. It seems like he's afraid of Duan Ling Tian. How laughable. Han Yunjin's expression darkened when he overheard the discussions among the disciples of the Heavenly Pool Palace. Senior brother Han, just accept the duel. At this moment, Xiao Chengyi, who was standing at the side, sent a voice transmission to Han Yunjin. That brat might be bluffing. He's waiting for you to reject the duel. If you reject the duel, your reputation in the Heavenly Pool Palace will plummet. Xiao Chengyi said. How could Han Yunjin not understand Xiao Chengyi's words? However, if he accepted the duel, what if he was not a match for Duan Ling Tian and was killed by Duan Ling Tian in 3 years' time? It was a gamble whether he accepted the duel or not. On one hand, it was his reputation. On the other hand, it was his life. At this moment, Han Yunjin was in a dilemma. Of course, in the depths of his heart, he was more inclined towards the fact that it was impossible for Duan Ling Tian to possess the strength to openly defeat him after 3 years. After taking a deep breath, Han Yunjin communicated with the Martial Dragon Celestial Emperor and the Misty Wave Celestial Emperor through voice transmission. Duan Ling Tian's technique is only effective on plants and trees, right? Although the Martial Dragon Celestial Emperor and the Misty Wave Celestial Emperor could not figure out how Duan Ling Tian had drained the vitality of the Pine Willow Divine Tree with the help of the Divine Tree of Life's energy, they were certain that they were qualified to be duped. However, as titled Celestial Emperors, they could vaguely tell that Duan Ling Tian was using the Divine Tree of Life to kill plants and trees. Moreover, as long as we don't get close to him, Duan Ling Tian might not be able to use the technique. After learning this from the Martial Dragon Celestial Emperor and the Misty Wave Celestial Emperor, Han Yunjin turned to look at Duan Ling Tian. If you want to reject the duel, just reject it. There's no need to take so long to consider it, right? The sneer on Duan Ling Tian's face widened. Reject? Han Yunjin sneered. Why should I reject the duel? In 3 years' time, I, Han Yunjin, will have a life-or-death duel with you, Duan Ling Tian, in the Prodigy Arena. Today, everyone here can bear witness to this. If you don't dare to show up, don't embarrass yourself in the Heavenly Pool Palace anymore. Not only did Han Yunjin agree to a life-or-death duel with Duan Ling Tian in 3 years' time in the Prodigy Arena, but he had also pushed himself and Duan Ling Tian into the limelight. All right. Duan Ling Tian looked at Han Yunjin meaningfully before he turned around and walked towards Su Lang and the others. From the beginning until the end, Duan Ling Tian's expression remained calm. It was as though he could remain calm even if Mount Tai were to collapse in front of him. However, when Duan Ling Tian agreed to the duel, the expressions of Hu Mei and Hong Fei changed drastically. 3 years. 3 years is too short. Why did little junior brother agree to the duel? Both of them thought Duan Ling Tian was only trying to embarrass Han Yunjin by challenging him to a 3-year life-or-death duel. If Han Yunjin did not agree to the duel, they could mock him. However, now that Han Yunjin had agreed to the duel, they thought Duan Ling Tian had failed to scare Han Yunjin. Although Duan Ling Tian had displayed extraordinary strength earlier, he was still far from being a match for Han Yunjin. Han Yunjin was the first disciple of Celestial Emperor Qing Xian. Apart from being a celestial emperor, he had also comprehended all the profundities from the law of fire to the greater mastery stage. His strength was only slightly inferior to their second senior brother. As one of the 5 prodigious disciples in the Heavenly Pool Palace, Han Yunjin was ranked in the top 5 among the 100 prodigious disciples in the Heavenly Pool Palace. Although their little junior brother was strong, he was not even 300 years old. Moreover, he was a human through and through. In all 81 Devata realms, there were only a handful of people who were capable of defeating Han Yunjin at this age. Teacher. After Duanling Tian returned, he nodded and smiled at Su Lang as a greeting. Are you confident? Su Lang asked. If I'm not confident, I wouldn't have challenged him. Duanling Tian replied with a smile. Although they did not know where Duanling Tian's confidence came from, Hu Mei and Hong Fei felt relieved when they heard Duanling Tian's words. After all, they were not optimistic about their little junior brother's chances of defeating Fan Qi. However, their little junior brother had one. Huan let's go. Duanling Tian called out to Huan before leaving the prodigy arena with Su Lang and the others. After Duanling Tian and the others left, an uproar broke out in the crowd. Duanling Tian and Han Yunjin are going to have a life-or-death duel in the prodigy arena? This is going to be interesting. Since Duanling Tian dares to challenge Han Yunjin to a life-or-death duel, it means he's confident in his strength. That's not necessarily true. After all, Duanling Tian is only a human. With his age, it's almost impossible for him to defeat senior brother Han Yunjin. After the disciples of the Heavenly Pool Palace left the prodigy arena, news of Duanling Tian and Han Yunjin's life-or-death duel in 3 years spread like wildfire in the Heavenly Pool Palace. On this day, many people in the Heavenly Pool Palace witnessed Duanling Tian's strength. After all, Duanling Tian was the strongest among the prodigious disciples between the ages of 200 to 300 years old. Big Sister Shui, are you confident that I'll be able to defeat and kill Han Yunjin in 3 years' time? After Duanling Tian returned to his cultivation place, he sat down cross-legged and asked the world-cleansing divine water in his little world. What's the world-cleansing divine water? If you're not confident, I wouldn't have asked you to accept the duel. The world-cleansing divine water smiled. I don't want you to throw your life away because of a moment of anger. Sister Shui, with my current strength, I can kill him with your help. However, I'll expose you if I do that. However, without your help, it'll be difficult for me to kill him in 3 years. Duanling Tian voiced his concerns. I know. The world-cleansing divine water said. However, that was in the past. Now that the divine tree of life has absorbed the vitality of the pine willow divine tree, it can grant you the godly image avatar of the pine willow divine tree. 3 years is enough for you to refine the vitality of the pine willow divine tree and form the godly image avatar. Moreover, at that time, they will only think that you obtained something else to be able to form the godly image avatar of the pine willow divine tree. There are many ways to form the godly image avatar in this world. However, none of them can be replicated. Therefore, you won't have to worry about powerhouses targeting you at that time. End of chapter. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.